Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome into the virtual Talladega Superspeedway. It is championship night here on Tuesday for the Ron Morris Racing Tuesday Night Thunder Series right here on the Ghost Racing Network. My name is Dawson Wise, and you may notice I am solo tonight. Austin Green, some other commitments tonight, racing the College Series race just a little while ago over there for NASCAR and brought home a 14th place finish, so major props to the Green Ghost. My partner in crime on Tuesdays, Austin. A huge congrats on a great run over there at Michigan in the College Series. Also qualified 6th for that race. A strong week overall for the 87 Embry-Riddle Ford F-150. But tonight, we got business to attend to, business to settle. An entire season comes down to one race, 60 laps to decide a champion, and decide a whole lot more than that. A playoff format this season, and as people get in here, I'll explain this multiple times throughout the course of the night as we go here. But the format was a little bit different this season in terms of how we crown our champion. So, with all of that being said, I wanted to go live a little bit early tonight and try to explain the best of my ability, what you're going to be seeing on the broadcast ticker tonight, what you're going to be seeing in terms of the markings next to the names of drivers and what they are racing for. So, with all that being said, first off, thank you everyone for coming in as you are getting in here tonight on a Tuesday night as we wrap up an incredible season of Tuesday Night Thunder and crown our champion. Grateful to have been in the booth for a second season for Tuesday Night Thunder here on Tuesdays with Austin, and obviously hope to be back in the future as Tuesday Night Thunder continues, and grateful to all of you for coming out. Share the link out right now. We're going championship racing here in a few minutes. The timer says 13 minutes. Don't look at the timer. We are not going based off of that here tonight at Talladega. We are advancing to qualifying in 60 seconds from right now at 10 o'clock on the East Coast like normal. We are going to the qualifying session, so share the link. Tell your friends if you know a driver in this field, if you know someone that knows a driver in this field, especially if they are in the championship fight, go get them right now. Tell them to come on over to the Ghost Racing Network, and we are about to go championship racing here in just a few moments. So here is how tonight is going to run down. Here is the format that we are going by here tonight on Tuesday Night Thunder. The championship 4 drivers are as follows tonight. Matthew Baker, the defending Tuesday night champion, is back in the Final 4. The PGR champion, John Ward, is in the Final 4. Andrew Navarro makes his place in the Final 4 as well after a dominant season. And the final driver tonight in our championship 4 up for our big championship payouts, the man who was the 9th man in the playoffs after the round of 16 race a couple of weeks ago, several weeks ago now, and that is Jason Maines. And what a story it would be for Jason if he is able to get to the championship victory lane tonight and get that big championship payout. The 9th man added to the playoffs after a bit of some controversy at the end of a race in Daytona a few weeks ago. And I could tell you, several guys not happy, but Jason, he has silenced the doubters. He's gone out, made the Final 4, and now finds himself in a perfect position to capitalize and capture that championship payout. So as we get ready to go racing tonight from Talladega, watch out for those 4. Now, here's the deal for the other 5 drivers. So you may be asking, why do the other 5, and you haven't seen it yet, but you will, why do the other 5 have playoff markings next to their name? Well, they are still racing for payouts as well. So the remaining 5 drivers eliminated last week in the round of 9 are still racing for some payouts this week. Those 5 drivers are as follows: Garrett Maines, Cody Nagels, Logan York, Dylan Jones, and Michael Triscaro. They are the 5 that will be racing for the remaining payouts, and we'll get into those payouts a little bit more as we get closer to race time and into tonight's race. They are still pretty good payouts, especially when you compound them with the race payouts. So tonight's still something to race for the 5 eliminated last week. Obviously a very close race, a very interesting finish to last week's race, how the points worked out, how they came down to it. An interesting Final 4, and nonetheless, they will be racing for the championship. The other 5 racing for a little bit of added payout beyond what we get in the race. We're about to head to qualifying here in just a moment. I know we had figured 10 o'clock, but we're waiting a few extra minutes, but that gives us some more time to get you all in here and situated as we get ready to go here on a Tuesday night. We cannot wait. This is going to be a great one as we get ready. Looking in the chat already, Heath Job, how you doing, brother? Good to see you out here on a Tuesday night. Always appreciate the support and the kind words that you have given me over my time, and glad to see you here on a Tuesday night. We got a good one coming up. Baker's mom's in the chat. Baker's mom, good to see you. Matthew Baker going for back-to-back Tuesday night championships here tonight. A great opportunity for him as well. He's been one of the more dominant drivers this season. Actually won our season opener earlier in the year to lock his way into this playoffs. Has had almost a flawless postseason to this point for sure. Probably the most confident besides Andrew Navarro tonight in the Final 4. And as we get down to it, Baker, Navarro, certainly the ones to watch. Maines and Ward, interesting stories there as well. Word from up top in the race control tower. Going to be a few extra minutes tonight as we get ready to get going under the green flag, but that's fine. That's all well and good and gives plenty of time for these guys to get in and get settled here tonight as we get ready to go under the green flag in just a quick moment. So it will be a few extra minutes. Again, one more chance. Share the link. We're about to go to qualifying. Put these guys on the grid for tonight's Tuesday Night Thunder Championship race. Share that link. Let's get a big audience. These guys have worked all season long for this night tonight. It's championship night. We're racing for big payouts, and these guys want a big audience when they go back and watch the replay of this race. Let me see how many we've got in the field tonight. I know it's a pretty decent size field. Just over 20, I do believe. It's somewhere right in the neighborhood of 20 drivers tonight. I'll get you an exact number here in a moment. Looks like it's 17 on the grid right now. So about the grid we had for the round of 9. I believe all of our 9 playoff guys are here. I see 7 of them right now. And let's see if we're missing any of our big Championship 4 drivers. I see Matthew Baker. I see John Ward. I see Andrew Navarro. I think we're all good. And now Jason Maines has just popped in as well. So our Championship 4 are here. They are in attendance tonight and ready to get it going. And in fact, our other drivers of the other 5 as well. Dylan Jones, Logan York, Michael Triscaro, Garrett Maines, and Cody Nagels are in the field as well. So all 9 of the drivers going for big payouts tonight are in the field and are almost ready to get it going as we get ready to send this race into the qualifying session. Waiting just a couple extra minutes. Race control having a couple of issues here early in the going tonight, but we'll get them under the green flag soon enough. Want to thank you for joining me once again. I'll have you solo tonight on the coverage. Flying solo up here in the booth behind the microphone, but we're going to make the best of it nonetheless. As we get ready to go into the green flag for the first time here on Championship Tuesday. And last season's championship race and the regular season championship race before it were so chaotic. They were beyond chaotic. They had a ton of controversy involved, a ton of different twists, turns, roller coasters of emotions for our championship drivers, and tonight will be all the same. The format tonight is the same as you're used to. A stage break at lap 20. It's a 60-lap race for sure tonight. Let me see some of the more gritty details about tonight's race. You know what? We're actually going a little bit longer. I'm glad I looked. We are going 75 laps tonight instead of 60, so a little bit longer race on tap here tonight. It'll be 75 instead of 60. It does not mention a stage break. I imagine we will have a stage break at lap 25, but a 75-lap event tonight instead of 60. 50% fuel for these gentlemen today. So a short fuel load, a longer race means more pit stops, means more opportunities for mistakes to be made. I'll actually bring it up here to show you for sure. And that all says 60 laps. So it is 75 laps tonight, 50% fuel instead of 40. So we've changed some details here tonight for the championship race. I want to make it a little more prestigious for the championship drivers. If you'll bear with me, we're getting driver cameras set up. I was hoping to get the final 4 on driver cameras. I don't believe we're going to have all of them, but trying to get as many as we can leading up to race time so that you can see what they're seeing and get an onboard ride with a few of these drivers as they get ready to race for some big money payouts. Hopefully getting ready to go to qualifying. Only about 6 minutes left on the timer, so not a ton of time left to work with. It is allowing some time for some extra cars to get in the field. I know the field has grown from 17 to over 20 here just over the past 5 minutes that we've been talking. So we await the move to qualifying here in just a couple of moments. Danelda Adams back in the chat rooting for Baker. Baker, the fastest time in practice. Imagine he'll be very aggressive tonight as the defending champ. And one of the more dominant drivers, one of the more consistent cars in the field all season long. I wondered throughout the postseason if he would be able to carry the momentum and get into the Final Four, and he has done that. Like I said, almost a flawless postseason for Matthew Baker. Same can be said for Andrew Navarro. He's done everything he's needed to do to get right here. The two better drivers this season in terms of finishing order and in terms of postseason performance have made it to the point right before the mountaintop. Tonight they can get on the mountaintop and win themselves a championship. It would be Baker's second. It would be Navarro's first. And for the other two, John Ward was crowned PGR champion a few weeks ago after the turn of the new year. That first week of January was arguably his biggest win of his money racing career, and tonight he could match it, if not surpass it. A Tuesday Night Thunder championship could be in the cards tonight for the driver of the 92 for Hyper Motorsports. And I don't think he's got any teammates in the field tonight. He's been running solo on Tuesday nights, and that makes his run even more impressive. To get to where he is at right now in the championship for the chance to come away with a big prize. In the fourth guy, Jason Maines, I mean, that would be the ultimate comeback story, the ultimate story of a guy coming in and upsetting the rest of the field. Jason Maines on points, eliminated after the round of 16, but some controversy at the end of a race a few weeks ago. He's now locked in to our championship race tonight, and he's done everything he needed to do in the round of 8 race, and he makes it now to the championship 4 with an opportunity to pull off one of the bigger upset wins in terms of a driver that wasn't even supposed to be in this round per se, that could go to victory lane and cash in on a massive win here tonight if his cards fall right for him. Again, as you're coming in, welcome in to the Ghost Racing Network. We are awaiting the start of tonight's Ron Morris Racing Tuesday Night Thunder Championship event here from Talladega Superspeedway. The Xfinity Series cars are going to be on display once again tonight, as has been our MO throughout the season. So we await the next couple of minutes. Ignore that timer on the top left, although we are pushing the end of it here. I know we were supposed to go into qualifying at 10 o'clock. We've had some kind of issue with the session, and with a couple drivers getting into the session, so we await the jump to qualifying, and we can put these guys on the grid and get them racing. It is 75 laps here tonight, so stick around. You will not want to miss this race. If you've watched any Tuesday Night Thunder this season, you'll know what I'm talking about. This is going to be an incredible event here tonight. If you've watched any of the season before this, it's been a great one, and we expect nothing less out of tonight's championship event. If you haven't watched any Tuesday Night Thunder, if this is your first time, be ready. These guys put on a show every time they're on the racetrack. They put on an incredible show for us up here. They put on an incredible show for you, the viewers. And they've done so many times this season. Austin and I have had an incredible time watching these drivers go to battle every single week. And you can't help but reflect on championship night when it comes down to it, when so much is on the line, the season that you have had. And it has certainly been one for the books. That we are going to wrap up here in just a moment. 2.5 minutes at the most, and we're going to be qualifying these cars and putting them on the grid, giving them their starting positions for tonight's event. And so about 2 minutes remain. I'll call for it one last time. Like, share, get an audience in here tonight. These guys deserve it. They've worked hard for it. And we want to get some eyes on this championship race here tonight. Cody Baker's in the chat. Baker, a supporting section here tonight in the YouTube chat to cheer Baker on to potentially his second championship in Ron Morris Racing's Tuesday Night Thunder. As we await the start, the field up above 20 cars now as I'm looking at it right now. A lot of the same names we've seen all season have made the trip here to Talladega, have unloaded from the hauler, and are ready to get this one going. See if we can get a look at any of our championship drivers before they go to qualify while we wait here with about 90 seconds. There is Jason Maines in the one, sitting on the pit lane right now as we await his qualifying effort. Here is Matthew Baker. We'll get a little bit better look, hopefully, at the driver of the 5. There he is. A little bit better look there. The black, silver, and gold look tonight for Matthew Baker, the coasting Thunder machine we've gotten so used to seeing over the course of the past several weeks. And right in front of him is the PGR champ, another one of our championship 4. There is the familiar red, white, and blue Hyper Motorsports Chevrolet Camaro of John Ward. Colors we've gotten so used to seeing. In fact, in the Little Guys series last night that I called over on the Hickory Racing Network, we saw those trucks featured in a big way. Now, it didn't quite work out for them at the end of the night, but Larry McDonald, one of John Ward's teammates on Hyper Motorsports, was able to get his way into the championship race of that series last night. John Ward hoping for a similar result for himself here tonight in the Ron Morris Racing Championship event. A couple more quick updates here from Race Control. A shorter qualifying session. Normally it's 10 minutes. It will be 5 tonight. And one final update for you. As qualifying goes on track here in just a moment, no stage break tonight. We are running straight, green flag, 75 laps, no planned cautions here at the Talladega Superspeedway tonight. Again, no stage break at lap 25. It will be a straight run, 75 laps for all the marbles on championship night here for Tuesday Night Thunder. And so keep that in mind. Ignore the timer. Again, we'll go about 5 minutes in the qualifying session. So when that timer hits 5, we're putting them on the grid. And we're going racing at Talladega Superspeedway. And so as these guys begin their qualifying runs, we wait to see who will get the pole for tonight's championship event. We will have some driver cams. So we got a couple drivers in it right now. So we'll try to get those working here. I'll actually go ahead and show you those now so we can focus on the starting grid when we get those drivers onto the grid. And the first is a man racing for a championship tonight, our defending champion. In Tuesday Night Thunder, it is Matthew Baker. In the 5, he's got the driver camera on. You see the onboard look for that Chevrolet as he makes his qualifying run here onto the speedway to put himself on the grid for his chance to defend his championship here on Tuesday nights. See the eyes darting around, trying to make the perfect qualifying run. And there is a look at him. The other driver with a camera on his setup tonight is Cody Nagels. He'll be racing for the 5 through 9 spots tonight. Eliminated narrowly last week in the round of 9, but will be still racing for some championship payouts here in tonight's race, and he carries the onboard camera as well for us, and we'll check in on those two drivers throughout the night as we go here on Tuesday Night Thunder. Only 2 on the driver camera so far, so we'll keep an eye on those 2 guys as we go and as their nights progress. There are drivers on the speedway as we look high above this 2.66 mile facility, which tonight is the Gladiators Arena. As we get ready to go, 2 minutes, 48 seconds and counting here left in qualifying. These guys are on the racing surface, running their laps, and getting the grid set. And we will be ready to go. And while we're at it, before we put them on the grid, let's go ahead and give you the payouts. And I'll do this again later in the race, but I do want to go ahead and get this out of the way because it is a little bit confusing considering who's racing for what tonight. We will start with the base race payouts. So the payouts for the finishing positions of the race. $200 to first tonight, $150 to second, $150 to third, $100 to fourth, and $100 to fifth. Again, one more time, $200 to first, $150 to second, $150 to third, $100 to fourth, and $100 to fifth. After that, we're going to go firstly with the other 5. Garrett Maines, Cody Nagels, Logan York, Dylan Jones, and Michael Triscaro. Now, they will still have the yellow number, but they are racing for their own 5 spots. And here are the payouts for those. The driver who finishes 5th in points tonight will get $125. The driver who finishes 6th will get $125 as well. It's $100 to 7th tonight, $100 to 8th, and $75 to 9th. That is in the playoff standings. So those 5 drivers will race head-to-head tonight, and we'll keep you updated on the situation as it unfolds. But those are the payouts again. So of those 5, Garrett Maines, Cody Nagels, Logan York, Dylan Jones, and Michael Triscaro, the payouts are the following: $125, $125, $100, $100, and $75. After that, you have our final 4, and this is the big money tonight. This is for all the marbles. These are the drivers that have made our championship 4, and they are Andrew Navarro in the 44, Matthew Baker in the 5, Jason Maines in the 1, and John Ward in the 92. Their championship payouts will be as follows. The champion tonight, The driver of those 4 who finishes the highest, much like NASCAR's format, will receive $400 on top of any potential race-based payouts. So a potential of up to $600 tonight for the champion, $300 to the driver who finishes second among those 4. It'll be $275 to the driver who finishes third of those 4, and the final driver of those 4 will be walking away tonight with $250 plus their race payouts. So a potential huge payday for several guys tonight. It's a huge payout, $600 on the books here tonight for the champion if you can win the race and win the championship, and that is a heck of a payout. These guys have been fired up all week long waiting for this race, especially those championship 4. And as we get ready to go, we're glad you are here with us enjoying this race. We're going to put them on the grid. It's the moment you all have been waiting for. It's the moment I have been waiting for all week. It is time to run for a championship here on Tuesday Night Thunder. The grid is going to be official here in just a moment when the session gets pushed forward to the grid. Just at the last second, the pole overtaken here by one of our final 5, not in the championship 4, Garrett Maines, as he steals away a little bit of glory there from Matthew Baker as he looked to be on the pole. Still not advanced to the grid quite yet, but it is that moment. It is that time, and we are ready to go under the green flag for the first time. And a few guys still finishing up their qualifying efforts, so I believe we will give it an extra few seconds. We have at least one more still on track. We'll see if that effort is allowed to finish here. For the most part, everybody seems to be done and over with qualifying. Some guys deciding to qualify, some others deciding to run out at the back and bide their time. John Ward, it worked for him last Tuesday night. He got into this race. And so here we go. We're waiting one driver to make their qualifying run, and then we will be on the grid for the first time here tonight and ready to go green. It is a little bit later than usual. We do have a little bit longer race tonight, but there is no stage break at lap 25. It will be 75 total laps for Championship Tuesday. No stage break, but a longer race. A 50% fuel load means increased pit stops, probably about 15, 16 laps per pit run. So a lot of pit stops on tap. If this thing goes green, it could make this championship fight extremely interesting. The last car to qualify has finished his run. It's Danny Eschleman, who had not yet run a lap. I'm not sure if we're going to be waiting on any other cars. You see John Ward continues to sit on pit road. I don't think he'll be running a lap. And so now we simply await the push to the grid. Again, glad to have you with us. Another check at the YouTube chat's been active so far. Keep it up. Keep utilizing the chat. If you got a driver in this field, let them know you're pulling for them here tonight. Nash Brambilla. Nash, good to see you. Rooting for Michael Triscaro, his teammate at Team PGR on Thursday nights. And the promoter on Thursday nights. And now, right as I say John Ward doesn't look to be running a lap, he may have heard my voice, and he does decide to go run a lap with about 2.5 minutes to go in the qualifying session. So we await now the lap of John Ward and as well as the lap of Jason Maines. So a couple other qualifying efforts still on the speedway. Now we push the session forward to the grid. So John Ward waited just a little bit too long, and unfortunately for him, he will not be able to put a lap down. So with that being said, it's time for championship racing at the Talladega Superspeedway, and we are going to get it started here on a Tuesday night as we get ready to put them under the green flag. First thing tonight, your starting grid from Talladega Superspeedway. Quick time tonight, Garrett Maines in the 31 with a time of 54.166 seconds. Matthew Baker goes second quick, the first of our championship 4, 6 1/1000ths off of that lap. Third on the grid tonight, inside of row number 2, will be the NBG entry, and a teammate of Matthew Baker, Matt Lee in the 0-4 to his outside, a former NBG driver, now with Dale Cup Games, and that is the 6 of Cody Nagels, running a bit of a new look tonight. We'll get into that a little bit later on. Row 3, John Mullahan of McCullough Motorsports in the 2 to his outside, another NBG entry, that being Jeff Merck in the 60. Logan York in the 0-2 for Misfortune Motorsports rolls from position number 7. He's up for some payouts tonight as well. And Kenny McCullough in the 0-3 rolls from position number 8. Andrew Navarro rolls from position number 9 tonight. And his outside will be David Sheets in the 0-6. Danny Eshelman and Mark Von Dell will make up row number 6, with row number 7 being Michael Triscaro and Brock Westmoreland. Row 8, Tucker McClendon in the 27, and another one of our Championship 4, Jason Maines. The final of our Championship drivers rolls from 17th. That is Hyper Motorsports' John Ward. And Daniel Eberhardt, D3, rolls from position number 18 in the 90. Dylan Jones rolls from 19th tonight. Our final of the other 5 drivers racing for payouts, and Mike Davenport rounding out your top 20. Final car on the grid tonight is going to be Christopher McCullough in the 94. 21 cars have made the trip. They're off the hauler, they're on the grid, and we are ready to get them underway. Pace car is about to roll, and that means it's championship time. Here at the Talladega Superspeedway, we are so glad that you have joined us here on a Tuesday night and decided you're spending your Tuesday night with me up here in the booth on the Ghost Racing Network. And you know what that sound means. As engines roar to life, it means it's time to put drivers under the green flag. And what a season it's been for the Tuesday Night Thunder Series. And it comes down to 75 laps of racing to decide a winner, to decide a champion, to give away some payouts. On a beautiful Tuesday night, we'll update really quickly for you. I know we have a few other drivers on the driver cams tonight, one of them being the driver starting in 6th tonight, a brand new Blue Angels paint scheme aboard the number 60 Camaro of Jeff Merck. He carries an onboard camera for us there. And the final driver racing for those 5th through 9th payouts, he'll roll from right back here around row number 7, running the IROC style paint scheme, the white and black number 34 of Michael Triscaro. He carries an onboard camera for us as well. We'll check in on those 4 drivers throughout the night, see how their nights are going, and continue to check in on their progress as the night goes on. We're a half a lap from green. It's Garrett Maines and Matthew Baker on the front row, which feels like a sentence we've said all too much this season. These drivers elite in qualifying and racing for different things tonight. Again, you see the yellow number and you see the playoff marking next to their name. We'll one more time highlight it for you before we get into this race. Our final 4 racing for the big money payouts tonight are Matthew Baker, Jason Maines, Andrew Navarro, and John Ward. The other 5 drivers racing for payouts tonight you will also see with playoff markings are Cody Nagels, Logan York, Michael Triscaro, Dylan Jones, and Garrett Maines. So those are your 5 drivers running for the 5th through 9th payouts. There are 4 drivers running for the Championship 4. It's time to get underway. So grateful you've been with me through all these Tuesdays, but it comes down to one, and the show ends tonight. Who will be crowned champion of Tuesday Night Thunder season number 3? Maines brings him into the restart zone. Green flag from the flagman. We are racing in the championship race for Tuesday Night Thunder. Off turn number 4, what a beautiful sound that is as they fly by our cameras there throughout the first lap. Matthew Baker goes right to the outside. He wants to lead. He'll get it. He leads lap 1 in the Coasting Thunder Chevrolet. Nagels all over the back of him. A new look aboard the 6 tonight. Going to be a little bit interesting to get used to as he runs the snap-on paint scheme aboard that machine tonight. Jeff Merck in tow as well up on the top side, bottom side. Garrett Maines, Matt Lee, and John Mullahan. As they try to roll the bottom, Logan York coming in tow, as well as Andrew Navarro, who's making his way forward, one of our championship drivers tonight. 2x2 down the super stretch off into turn number 3. Still Baker and Maines side by side as lap 2 is on the board here at Talladega. We expect about a 15-lap fuel run over the course of the night. We'll see if that rings true. If that is the case, about 4 pit stops planned for these guys as long as the race goes green. Again, with no stage break after lap number 25, we don't really expect a planned caution. Any cautions will be as a result of incidents tonight, so we'll have to see how that goes. Baker now to an even bigger lead here. Clears down across the nose of Garrett Maines, allows Cody Nagels to have a second to cool. Jeff Merck becomes opening pusher. Navarro up to the outside up against the safer barrier. He is going backwards. He does not like what he sees up front, wants to go ride it out in the back. Smart strategy by the man who has dominated most of the season so far on Tuesday Night Thunder, the most wins of any driver in the field. Tonight looking to cash in with a championship, and the best way he can think to do that is to go to the back of the field right around where John Ward is right now. Jason Maines hanging back around the tail end of this draft as well. Now Baker, the only one with a pretty aggressive strategy here to run up front, decides it's more worth it to run right where he's at here at the front of the field rather than go to the back. Now he'll have his teammate in tow as Garrett Maines jumps up in front of Cody Nagels. He wants to lead. He will get it here in the trial for this third time by the flag stand. Lap 3 to Garrett Maines in the 1. Nagels all over the back of him. David Sheets and a couple of others have started to make their way forward. Tucker McClendon is +6 to where he started. Dylan Jones further back in 12th is +7 to where he started. On the other end of things, Kenny McCullough -11. Mark Vondell has lost 9 spots. Andrew Navarro's dropped 7 as a result of going to the back, trying to get away from the chaos that is sure to be up front here in a very short time. Side by side into 3 one more time. Maines and Baker, now teammates. All over the place here in front. Teammates, former teammates all over the racetrack here at the front of the field, as Baker has Lee and Merck and his former teammate Nagels here inside the top 6. Making the top 5 as Mullahan loses that spot to Merck. Maines a big surge to the outside, clears by half a car length. He may clear Matthew Baker here into turn number 1, allow Cody to clear once again to get cool, but Matt Lee ensures that the one machine, the MCU body Ford Mustang, has to stay up on the top side in front of Nagels and keeps the lines even. 2x2 racing, much as we've seen most of the season tonight, for the most part. 2x2 early, they get to 3 wide later when they get comfortable, and in these cars, they were able to do it so well throughout the season. Expect nothing less tonight than great racing. Maines is able to clear down now in front of Matthew Baker. That leaves Cody Nagels and Jeff Merck up on the top. David Sheets is pulled forward to 3rd in line. Michael Triscaro is trying to make up ground, as well as Brock Westmoreland further back as they try to make their way towards the front. And they actually go to the top side. First to try the top lane, it's the 34 IROC Chevrolet of Michael Triscaro further back with Brock Westmoreland in tow, and he brings John Ward along with him. Where does Ward go in this? Does he want to go to the front? Result of this, though, the middle line has started to fade just a little bit. Cody Nagels and Jeff Merck have lost all their help. Through turns 1 and 2 and off onto the super stretch Maines, you can tell the middle line is dying just a little bit as Maines clears through once again to the race lead with the help of Matthew Baker in the 5. Nagels, Merck trying to hang tough here on the outside and make as much as they can. Triscaro, Westmoreland, now Chris McCullough in tow to the cavalry on its way potentially for Sheets, Merck, and Nagels here at the front. Lap 6 on the board. Now Sheets gets up on the back bumper of Merck, and you see how much that line moves when he gets closer. Nagels dead even. He wants the race lead here off 4 for the first time. The newly red and black Chevrolet. It's a scheme we've seen this season, but not aboard the 6. We've seen it aboard the 27 of Steve Karosik earlier in the season. Similar colors tonight for Cody Nagels, rather than his normal white, black, and gold machine that we're used to seeing. So through 1 and 2, one more time and onto the super stretch. It's still Maines, Baker, Nagels. The top 3 so far on the racetrack. Triscaro, Westmoreland continue to try to get that line to work as Maines back up in front of Cody Nagels. Baker now leads the bottom again. They will drag race here to turn number 3. Maines continues to lead. Matt Lee, I would imagine, still pretty hot there on the bottom behind his teammate Matthew Baker. Triscaro and Westmoreland going to have to dive back in. Now they jump right back out. They're trying to make hay. We'll take a quick look at the track temp. It's up around 100 degrees. So, yeah, Matt Lee, I imagine, starting to boil a little bit under the engine of that machine. Maine's going to get clear of Baker again. Will he go down and allow Cody to cool? I believe he will. Into 1, slides down, and right back across the 5. Nagels once again leads the top. Triscaro, Westmoreland continue to make hay all the way up against the safer barrier as they try to make their way forward and make up some ground. Down the super stretch. Maines, Nagels side by side again as Merck continues to do a great job of pushing there in the 60. David Sheets doing a good job as the third car in line of keeping that line even. Now Logan York, Michael Triscaro, and Brock Westmoreland have joined the party. Dylan Jones is +8. He's joined the party up front as well. Some new faces coming to the front here early on. This race is clean and green through 8 laps. 9 now on the board. It's 2 wide through the first 6 rows back to Dylan Jones and Brock Westmoreland. After that, everybody from D3 on back remains single file for the most part. Maybe some 2 wide way at the back of the lead draft as a couple of cars try to come forward. That's Kenny McCullough, John Ward, and Mark Vondell trying to maybe make a run here before the pit cycle begins. Nagels to the lead. He's now down across Garrett Maines. Logan York tries 3 wide. He wants to go up there, and Michael Triscaro says, I want me some of that. I'm going to go up there as well. Now 3v2 here for the middle. Triscaro says, I don't know about that. Now he dives back in. Merck trying to get in on the bottom behind his teammate Matthew Baker. All is Garrett Maines. Tries to get out from behind Cody Nagels. Baker goes with Maines. Now he pushes Garrett. Here in the tri-oval. Here come Logan York, Michael Triscaro, and Brock Westmoreland. They are 3 wide, and they got a heck of a run. A huge run coming here from the 0-2. Maines and Baker back to the lead. David Sheets hung out all alone. Does York go down? He does. Contact between Triscaro and Sheets. Do they keep it straight? They do. Matt Lee under the apron trying to make a save. He's going to have to try to get back up, but everybody keeps it going. Even for the lead on the super stretch, Matt Lee able to get right in front of Danny Eshelman. Logan York pokes the nose of the 0-2 Toyota out front for the first time tonight. Triscaro is +10. He is on the move, the man on a mission tonight in the 34. The True Value IROC style paint scheme aboard Michael Triscaro, and I'll tell you what, he was fired up for this race after the way last week's ended for him. After his championship hopes came to an end on pit road in last week's race, he was very fired up for tonight to make one last statement to go out with a bang in this season. A potential of, I believe, $325 for him if he can win the race, because he would be the highest finishing of the 5th through 9th place drivers. So take a quick breath, but it won't last for long. 11 laps on the board. We're about 4 laps short of our first pit stop of the night. Logan York, Garrett Maines continue to run side by side. Triscaro and Baker make up row number 2 of this little 2x2 bunch up here at the top 8. Mark Vondell, John Ward continue to come forward, as well as Kenny McCullough, who at one point was down 11 spots. He's recovered to be only down 3. He runs in the 11th position. Right now they're on the bottom behind Matt Lee. Westmoreland +9, Triscaro +9, York +5. On a mission early in this one, and York continues to chip away here at the lead. Triscaro got to be getting hot by now, but not hot enough to get them out from to the outside of Garrett Maines. They're able to hang right with the leaders. Now the problem is they're going to have to get down here at some point in the next couple laps as the pit stop approaches. We know that a run in these cars is about 30 laps or so, so we expect about 15 to be the modified 50% run that we expect in tonight's event. So in the next 4 laps or so, they're going to have to cycle to the bottom and find a place for pit stops that we know are coming. Down the backstretch again, York pulls even with Garrett Maines. Bottom line still very solid, though. Maines, Baker, Nagels, Merck. York gets clear. Logan York to the race lead in 3. He leads now in front of Maines. Now it's Triscaro and Westmoreland trying to make their way to the front. It's John Ward and Mark Vondell have joined the party here at the front. Ward +11 started at the back, tried to run a qualifying lap, was unable to, but makes his presence felt here at the front for the first time. So Baker and Ward here at the front. Navarro and Maines, our other 2 Championship 4 drivers, at the tail end of the field. Dylan Jones is at the tail end of the field as one of the 5th through 9th place drivers. Meanwhile, the other 4 are all up here. York leading the race. Garrett Maines is 2nd. Michael Triscaro is 3rd, and Cody Nagels is 6th. Maines, impatient. He wants to lead this race. He does not want to be 2nd in line. York will now get a healthy shove from Matthew Baker on the bottom. Been doing a great job being the 2nd car in line, but Maines is able to bunny hop Logan York and get right back down in front of him. Lap 13 on the board. Triscaro, Westmoreland, Ward trying to make it happen up on the outside still in that 2nd lane. Tucker McClendon's joined the party as well. The bright orange and white Tennessee Volunteers Ford Mustang tries to make his presence felt at the front of the field as well. Maines, York are now clear. 13 on the board, make it 14 as we flash by the start-finish line again. John Ward's found a spot in line, 6th in line on the bottom. The 92 has made a nice comeback from starting at the tail end of the field and now finds himself right in the thick of it here with the leaders on lap 14. Triscaro now trying to find a spot in line as well in the 34. Westmoreland going to have to follow. Vondell, McClendon, everybody's starting to single out. The pit stops are coming, and coming in a hurry. Triscaro cannot for the life of himself find a spot in line. Everybody else single file. 17 out of 21 cars along the yellow line, the shortest way around this 2.66 mile oval. Off turn number 4, once again, Maines, York, Baker, Nagels, and Merck lead the way. They bypass pit road here on lap 14. We expect them next lap on lap 15. So Triscaro and Westmoreland and Vondell have 2.66 miles to find a spot in the line here on the bottom of the racetrack in this long freight train before they come to pit road. At least we assume. Maines continues to lead the race. York, Baker, Nagels, Triscaro make it your top 5. Baker steps out. Okay, so an interesting move here on the backstretch. Baker opts to go help Triscaro here as they all try to cycle forward. So Baker up in front of Triscaro. Now Baker, Triscaro, and Westmoreland have a mammoth run here at the tail end of the super stretch. Baker pokes the nose out front again. The aggression level for the 5 car, the defending champ, is very high in tonight's race. He wants it, and he wants it bad. And he goes back to the lead. Now, the problem is they're going to have to find a spot in line. Luckily for him, Triscaro was able to cool off. NBG says, we want to take a step out of line. Perhaps they've heard some of the communications. Perhaps they know that this group on the bottom is about to pit, and they want to go off cycle perhaps. So Baker is up. Merck is up behind Westmoreland, and Matt Lee has gone in behind Jeff Merck. So NBG is on the move. They're on the middle line now, trying to push it forward. Triscaro will give Baker a nice, healthy shove here down the Alabama Gang super stretch. Baker well clear of Garrett Maines. He's going to try to drag Triscaro with him. I don't think they'll be able to. As York continues to get hot on the bottom, nope, it'll just be Baker clearing down. So Triscaro continues to lead the top. A bit of a moment there in 3 is a little bit of a miscue on the pushing. But nonetheless, everybody able to keep it going around here on lap 16. We expect pit stops any moment. Any lap now, we should expect these guys on pit road as we get ready for our first pit cycle of the night. So far, clean and green to this point. They pass by the line again. Merck back in line. Matt Lee trying to open up a spot for himself as well on the bottom. Trying to find himself a gap. Can't do it quite yet. Maybe looking in front of John Ward here to try to get in line and pit when the time comes. Not able to get in there either. Triscaro Westmoreland still stranded as well up on the top side. So Baker continues to lead with the help of Maines and York. As all but 3 cars are singled out on lap number 17. 59 to go. It'll be 58 when we hit the start-finish line next time by. Another bypass of pit road. The field not yet pitting on lap 17, so scratch what I said about a potential 4-stop strategy. If they get to about lap number 19, if they not this time but next time, then they should be able to make it on 3 stops. That would put them pitting on 19, 38, and 57, which would be enough to go the entire 75-lap distance, should that be the case. Matt Lee finds a spot here in front of Cody Nagels, but now John Ward, is out of line on the top side trying to make up a few more spots, and he comes to the aid of Michael Triscaro and Brock Westmoreland in the middle. So still all but 3 cars along the bottom of the racetrack, and they get very disorganized here on lap number 18 this time by, so they'll start to lose a ton of ground. They're going to have to try to probably back up and get some spots here. Oh, a lean to pit road, but nobody commits. Everybody's still riding right around the yellow line. A spot opens up here potentially for Triscaro, but he stays up. Now does he look down? Yes, he does. Michael Triscaro's found a spot in line in front of Jeff Merck. So Westmoreland Ward now probably have to back out of it here and find a spot in line. This would be the money lap to make it on a 3-stop strategy. We fully expect these drivers to pit here within the next lap or 2. Potentially this time, Westmoreland going out and around. That's usually a pretty good sign. The pit stops are about to happen. He's going backwards in a hurry, lifting out of the gas, trying to find a spot in line, but tell you what, there's more drivers further back who are looking too wide. So again, potentially a split strategy. Off turn number 4, will we see anybody pit this time? Giving each other plenty of space. That indicates pit stops, and here we go. A big group is coming to pit road. Matthew Baker, the defending champ. Garrett Maines, Michael Triscaro, Cody Nagels, Logan York, Matt Lee, Jeff Merck, and Tucker McClendon are the group on pit road this time by. Staying out on the racetrack is a group led by David Sheets. Well, it's not going to be led by him for long. Dylan Jones, D3, Daniel Eberhardt, and Andrew Navarro have rocketed to the outside. They now take advantage and get to the outside of our lead group led by Sheets Mullahan, Ward, Vondell, and Chris McCullough. Several McCullough drivers in that field. So the McCullough guys going a lap long. Dylan Jones, Daniel Eberhardt, Jason Maines, Andrew Navarro are in that group as well. Danny Eshelman, Mike Davenport make up the tail end of that group. We expect to see some more of them this time by. The McCullough group will pit. Mike Davenport's going to go with them, as well as championship contender John Ward. They get on pit road without any issue. Brock Westmoreland had some kind of issue in the first group pit. He's going to pit right behind the McCullough group. But notably, Dylan Jones, Daniel Eberhardt, Andrew Navarro, and Jason Maines stay on the racetrack again and now try to stretch it to 21 laps. Now, they were all the way at the tail end of the draft, so no surprise they can save a little bit more than our leaders could. I don't know how much it's going to help them, but nonetheless, they're going to stretch it to 21. Now, if they were to make it 21 laps on every stint, which is not going to happen, but hypothetically, they'd be able to make it all the way to lap 63 before they pit, which would be a serious advantage in terms of how much gas you're actually taking. You're only taking about 12 laps of gas at that point. They hit pit road this time. Eberhardt, Jones, Navarro, and Maines, 2 of our championship 4 and 1 of our 5th through 9th drivers are on pit road, and now we wait for the cycle. Sheets, Ward, Mullahan, McCullough got out in front of that group, and now you see up there in the middle of your screen that Garrett Maines group is bearing down on this group extremely quickly, and they will blend. Now, this group up front is going to be with that group, but they're not going to be able to stay in front, I don't think. Garrett Maines coming with a huge head of steam here. Goes right to the outside. They're actually going to look 3 wide here. Mullahan, Chris McCullough went up to block it. It did not work. Ward and Sheets stay bottom. Garrett Maines says, I want to do you one better. Goes up towards the saber barrier and drags a crowd with him. Garrett Maines trying to go back to the lead. They're trying to run down the Eberhardt, Jones, Navarro, Maines group. They're going to pass them here on the apron, but close 3 wide here in turn 1. Maines all the way down to the yellow line. He gets the race lead. Baker able to stay in the middle with Chris McCullough. Maines actually going to go with him, sees the bottom line, and now realizes they're going to have to blend, and this is going to get interesting. Eberhardt, Jones, Navarro up ahead of the leaders, but they are 3 wide. They'll have to go 4 here for just a quick moment. They spread out. They fan. Do they make it work? 2 by 2 of 4 wide for a moment here at Talladega as they try to negotiate the lap cars. Oh, it's close here off turn number 4. They're going to stay 4 wide as the Eberhardt group made it work and got back up to speed. 4 wide at Talladega, 2 rows deep in the championship race. Triscaro, York go to the safer barrier. Contact between Sheets and Eberhardt. Can Eberhardt stay on the racetrack? He can. Still 4 by 4. Here as we go into turn number 1. Triscaro, York hanging tough on the outside up against the wall. Maines, Baker lead the 3rd lane. Sheets, Mullahan, Chris McCullough in the 2nd lane. Eberhardt, Jones, and Navarro on the bottom. Eberhardt up to block the 2nd. Still 4 wide behind John Mullahan. They got to try to keep it going here. Maines and Baker trying to keep the 3rd lane working. Triscaro, York try to keep the 4th lane working, as they are still 4 wide halfway down the Alabama Gang super stretch into 3. Incredible stuff up front. Dylan Jones goes to the race lead, pushed by Andrew Navarro. Still 4 wide, 2 rows deep. Triscaro and York's run starts to fade just a little, and that 3rd lane needs it to happen soon. If they're going to get anything going here, they need that 4th lane to fade. Eberhardt in the 2nd lane with Mullahan and Chris McCullough. Maines staying in the 3rd lane for now. I had a spot right there, I think, 3rd in line, but not going to settle for that. We go back to 3. Eberhardt goes to the wall. They're going to go past him. I believe they are 4 wide for a moment. That was close between Maines and Mullahan. Triscaro drops out, tries to pick up D3. It doesn't quite work for him. He has to dive back in line. And now Dylan Jones and Andrew Navarro dive off the racetrack. They're going to go to the back. So after all that cycling out front, they did not like that sequence with 4 wide racing, and they find a perfect optimal opportunity to go back to the back of the field. I don't know if I blame them. Take a breath. Incredible racing here early in the championship race. A quick update from our pit stops. Mike Davenport, Tucker McClendon, and Brock Westmoreland have lost the draft as a part of this pit sequence. And now they start to fan again. Cody Nagels to the outside in the 6. He wants the race lead here at Talladega. Matthew Baker goes a lane higher. The 5 car wants to lead again, pushed by Garrett Maines. Matthew Baker, he's been so aggressive so far tonight. He goes back to the race lead. The defending champion of Tuesday Night Thunder is in it to win it. And look at him saw on the wheel here on the backstretch. Side drafting hard along his former teammate. Garrett Maines up to the outside. You're riding on board here with Matthew Baker. You got the onboard camera with him. Look at him sawing the wheel all over the place here down the backstretch in these tough-to-drive Xfinity Series cars. I mean, you could not have asked for better racing early in the going here. We're only 25 laps in. Now, a note again, no stage break here. No stage break at the conclusion of this lap. We're going to keep on racing right through it. No stage points awarded tonight. We're just going to race on through and keep on going. And I mean, could you ask for a better race? We ride on board with the man now on the inside of this battle, Cody Nagels, and you can see just by his arm movements how much he's sawing on the wheel on the bottom of the racetrack. So you see what I mean? These guys are sawing away at the steering wheels. You see how tight the gaps are, and you see how precise these guys have to be over the course of a run. You see Cody working the wheel right there just as his former teammate Matthew Baker was. You see him dart to the outside in front of the 5 car. Mullihan, Sheets able to run the bottom now in front of their teammate Mark Vondell. Garrett Maines, Logan York, and Michael Triscaro are hanging tough on the outside of the racetrack. Vondell slips up just a little bit. The bottom line is going to lose some momentum. And again, we can take a quick breath. Nagels leads. Maines still up on the top side. Nagels now drops to the bottom. It'll be 3 wide for the lead again between he, Baker, and Garrett Maines. Baker back to the lead. He bunny hops his former teammate, now drops back to the bottom and allows Chris McCullough to cool off. And now Chris leads the middle line. Not much of an opportunity to really take a breath here in this race. I mean, just outstanding stuff. Matt Lee jumps to the outside, splits him. Garrett Maines all over the back of him, almost turned him. And a big save out of Matt Lee. The NBG driver in the 0-4 wants a little bit more than what he's got right now, and he jumps to the outside. Now a 3-car train up against the safer barrier between Lee, Maines, and York. And McCullough in the middle still with Jeff Merck and Michael Triscaro. Nagels up to the outside. He wants to bunny hop with Baker again and trade places. 3 wide for the lead, all among teammates or former teammates. Isn't this familiar? The 3 current and former NBG drivers leading each row. Nagels back to the bottom out in front of Baker. Lee able to clear in front of McCullough. What a move by Matt Lee and Cody Nagels. They're able to cycle themselves both forward. Now Garrett Maines, Logan York continue to lead the top side of the racetrack as, man, this front 8 or 9 cars has been just duking it out for the last several laps since pit stops, and all of a sudden we're looking at another cycle. Highlight a couple more of the drivers that have the driver cameras aboard their machines tonight as Nagels jumps back up in front of Matt Lee in the 0-4. Jeff Merck is 4th in line here in the middle. You see him sawing away. He actually got some full motion going on there for the 60, so even more to wrestle with if you're the driver of the 60 machine. As he wrestles with the wheel. 4th in line in the middle behind Christopher McCullough, and then Michael Triscaro, our final driver with a camera, 4th on the bottom. You see him sawing away. He actually has the full wheel in view there. And you can see his hands working hard at that steering wheel. No time to take a breath. Nagels back to the bottom. Leaves Lee the top. And actually Garrett Maines a lane higher, still with Logan York. And major props to Logan York here. This is excellent pushing by the 0-2. Unfortunately for him, without a 3rd car. Well, right as I say that, Nagels up in front of Lee. He saw Chris McCullough jump out of line. Chris jumps out. Logan jumps back into the middle. Now it's Maines and McCullough up top. York jumps back into the middle line. Now Triscaro jumps back out to the top line. He says, I like what I see. I'm going to go back up there. 30 laps up and down here at Talladega Superspeedway, and these guys are dicing it up. Championships on the line. Payouts on the line. A lot of money in the pot tonight for somebody to win. A lot of guys going to win a lot of money, and a few could even win a ton of money. A huge payout awaits the winner of this race and the champion of Tuesday Night Thunder. And there's a few guys that want to do both of those things. Another quick update for you on our other 2 championship contenders. You see John Ward. He just pulled out a line. Oh, trouble! Around goes Chris McCullough. Garrett Maines is into the outside wall. Matt Lee has lost the hood. He's got front end damage. Garrett Maines slides to a stop. I believe Cody Nagels is involved as well. And the caution flag is out for the first time here in turns 3 and 4. And a couple of championship implications, 5th through 9th implications in this one. As the first caution of the night strikes in turns 3 and 4 as Chris McCullough got turned right in front of the field. Goodness. So they dice it up for a while. Now it comes to a stop here, and we will take a look for you at what happened. This was Chris McCullough and Garrett Maines up on the top side of the racetrack. You see them up there. They just got help from Michael Triscaro. And as they're coming through 3 and 4, we'll try to get a little better angle of it. This is going to be perfect right here. Watch how far offset to the left Garrett Maines gets right here. It's not much. You see him slide across the bumper right there just in the slightest and gets into the left rear of Chris McCullough and gets him out of shape. Cody Nagle's nowhere to go. I think he might be okay. Kind of a weird-looking incident right there between those two. Jeff Merck gets a piece of it in the 60, and the bad luck continues for him. Matt Lee loses a hood in this. He gets some damage as well. Michael Triscaro has some damage as well. He's involved in the incident. The biggest damage out of this one is, for sure, Jeff Merck, Chris McCullough, and Garrett Maines. Try to take another look at it here. We'll go up from up above. We're watching from above in the chopper, and you're going to see right there, he's just about 1.5 feet off to the left of Chris's left rear quarter panel, and as he comes back down the racetrack, the chopper's going to slide wide here, and you'll get to see the tail end of this incident. But you see McCullough get turned by just a slight offset there by Garrett Maines. It's nothing egregious, certainly nothing intentional. That Garrett's just trying to push the best he can there on corner exit. It's a really tough spot to push. In the case that the car is so unstable right there that you just really can't risk pushing right on the back bumper, but nonetheless, Garrett is trying to do everything he can. You get another pretty good angle of it right here. As they fly by our camera, you see Garrett. He's off to the left, off to the left, off to the left, and it's the slightest bit in these cars. These cars very sensitive since the update to a left rear push. And as Garrett gets into him, he forces the 94 down. The 6 actually has a lot more damage than I thought he did. You see he's lost the bumper cover off the back end of that machine. McCullough and Garrett Maines obviously have big-time damage. Matt Lee unsure of the damage extent on his machine. Jeff Merck loses his hood. And Michael Triscaro has some minor damage. But all things considered, that could have been a lot bigger than it was. And Chris McCullough going to go for a fresh car. I believe Garrett Maines will as well. Now the others, obviously unsure about what they will do in terms of fixing damage, because there are some cars I think that could afford to simply take their repairs here and not go ahead and wipe out that fast repair with 44 laps to go. So finally a break in the action. We get almost halfway home in this one before the first yellow flag comes out. 32 laps will be complete at the start-finish line, and it's going to switch some things up now in terms of strategy. We most likely are going to be on a one-stop strategy here to the end of the race, as we saw guys push it to 21 laps. If you can do that again, you are good all the way to the end once we go back green. And interestingly enough, here comes some drivers for a second round of pit stops. Kenny McCullough, Dylan Jones, and Andrew Navarro. Mark Von Dell is coming down pit road. Daniel Eberhardt comes down pit road a second time. Cody Nagles has opted to repair his machine rather than take a fast repair. He just now leaves pit road ahead of the pace car. And 1 to go. And what has happened here to Jason Maines? No sign of Jason Maines on the racing surface. We'll quickly make it very quick. Here is Jason Maines. The wreck starts up in front of him. Does he get involved in this? He does not. Let's keep going forward here. Try to see before we go back green if we can figure out what happens here to Jason Maines. One of our Championship 4 drivers. That's the only reason I'm trying to spend a second on it here. We're fast forwarding. He's still on the racetrack. Not sure what happens here. Try to even speed this up. I really would like to know. And as they come to pit road, Unsure what happened to Jason Maines, but he's not showing on the racing surface right now. So one of our Championship 4 contenders presumably is out of tonight's event. So some kind of issue for Jason Maines. Unfortunately, we don't really have time to pinpoint it. We'll see if we can get it next caution. I just happened to notice that when I looked up at the scoring that he's not currently on the racing surface. In fact, as the field comes off turn 4, you can see he is not with the field. So some kind of critical, maybe a technical issue perhaps for Jason Maines, and what could end up being a knockout blow to his championship hopes. Nonetheless, we'll keep you updated on whether or not Jason Maines re-enters the racing surface here later on. Back into the restart zone. Green flag is back in the air. 42 laps to go here from Talladega in championship night. Bottom line goes, top side does not. John Mullihan out to the lead. Matthew Baker cycles forward to second as Danny Eshelman is going to be right on his bumper. John Ward bails. He goes to the bottom. Leaves Sheets and Davenport waiting for some help up top. Michael Triscaro and Brock Westmoreland will be there, but not until they get onto the Alabama Gang Super Stretch. For the first time once again back under the green flag. Down the super stretch they come. Mullihan, Sheets, now going to be almost dead even here as they head towards turn number 3. Mike Davenport, an excellent job of maintaining the momentum up on the top side, despite a couple cars bailing on the line. Triscaro, Westmoreland, Chris McCullough back into the outside line here. Triscaro, McCullough opt to race it out here, continue to try to get up front. Tucker McClendon as well, making his way forward here. Logan York is starting to make his way up as well as Sheets goes to the race lead. 41 laps to go. Lap 35 on the board as we are a few laps short of halfway home in tonight's Tuesday Night Thunder season finale from the Talladega Superspeedway on the Alabama Gang Super Stretch one more time. And Sheets, Mullihan continue to lead the way. Mike Davenport and Michael Triscaro, the PGR teammates, second and third in the outside line. Now make it first and second in the outside line. Sheets drops to the bottom. John Ward bails out, goes all to the outside. Now drops to the end of this outside line and goes further backwards again as they start to get more racy up front. Sheets, Davenport side by side. Chris McCullough says, I don't like it either. I'm going to go to the back as well. Garrett Maines, though, opposite strategy. The MCU body Ford Mustang trying to make his way back forward and get back to the front of the field. He did use a fast repair right there. On that caution, you see a fresh car aboard that number 1 machine, so keep that in your notes. He is on his last car tonight, racing for that 5th through 9th place bonus. He would not get the 5th place bonus as of right now. It would go to Michael Triscaro, and actually Triscaro's in a great spot here. He's got his teammate to his left elbow on the inside, and he is trying to nose out front and lead the race. He's up for a big payday, even winning that 5th place prize if he does manage to get into the race payouts. Davenport, Triscaro lead. It's all PGR front row here. And it's into turn number 1 one more time. Davenport pulls forward to the lead. Westmoreland is trying his best to give Triscaro a push, but it's no match for the 2 McCullough Motorsports teammates behind Mike Davenport on the bottom, David Sheets and John Mullihan. Matthew Baker is content to ride 4th in line right now, and I would imagine he would be content because if he finished where he was right now, he would be crowned the champion tonight. Westmoreland almost follows Triscaro down the racetrack, has to bail out. That was almost a big incident, as Westmoreland has to get back up to the outside line. Triscaro now solidly in front here at Talladega. The 34 machine of Michael Triscaro going to the lead. We'll get a look on board with him as he leads the field through the trial. He's really sawing on that wheel now, as Westmoreland's going to go to the outside of him, try to lead the race, but you can see how much those hands are moving inside the car as he tries to maintain the lead, stay squared up on his teammate's front bumper. In the form of Mike Davenport. Topside rolling, though. Westmoreland, Maines, McClendon, York, Kenny McCullough for the first time tonight going to come up here and run with the big boys here at the front. Kenny McCullough, no stranger to winning, actually was a winner in this season of Tuesday Night Thunder. Was unable to make his way into the championship 4, but did make a playoff appearance. A successful season for Kenny. Notably not running the Toyota tonight. I know we always hear when he talks to me when he talked to us after those wins, I remember he always said, well, I accidentally clicked on the Toyota and I won the race, so I'm just going to keep using it from now on. Well, he's back in the Chevrolet tonight. The familiar black and red 03 Camaro, the Georgia Bulldogs scheme that we're used to seeing instead of the all-black. I believe it was the number 24 Supra that we saw for a couple of wins this year. Westmoreland Triscaro continue to race it out for the race lead. As they still continue to be side by side into the trial. Well, Maines sees a gap and takes it. Westmoreland gets hung out to dry. Garrett Maines goes back to the lead. You cannot leave that much room to an experienced guy like Garrett Maines. He takes the gap, and Westmoreland's got no help coming. He's going to go way back in the field here as he tries to find a spot in line. Lap 40 is on the board. We are over halfway home from Talladega in our championship race for Tuesday Night Thunder, and all of a sudden now McClendon jumps out to the third lane. Does York go with him? He does. They hang Garrett Maines in the middle. They play his own game against him here. John Ward and Mark Vondell going to try to go up there with him. That allows Triscaro and Davenport to really gain some momentum and drive right back to the lead. McClendon, I think, is trying to get out of the pack. I don't know if he's trying to go forward, but Logan York went up there anyway. And pit stops here on lap 40. As the window opens, Nagel smokes the tires in a big way. It's Triscaro, Davenport, Baker, Nagels, Lee, and Jeff Merck. Ironically enough, all four of our driver cam drivers. And you know what? We're going to try something because I just got it to work and didn't even know I could do it. And we're going to have all four of them on here at once during the pit cycle. You see these guys get on and off pit road. Everybody leaving their box. And all four are back on the speedway. And what an interesting thing I can do that I did not know I could do a few laps ago. Up front, it's still Garrett Maines. And Kenny McCullough lead the field now. It's a bunch of McCullough cars here on the bottom. They're going to pit this time, I believe, and they will. They'll bring Garrett Maines along with them. John Ward pits with them as well as Brock Westmoreland. So it's the four McCullough cars, Brock Westmoreland, John Ward, Garrett Maines, and Brock Westmoreland. So a total of 8 cars pit there. And that leaves 6 still on the racing surface. Those being Tucker McClendon, Logan York, Andrew Navarro, Dylan Jones, Daniel Eberhardt, and Christopher McCullough. So it will not be a one-stop race. I thought it would. It will not. It will be 2 and 1 after this cycle of pit stops. Jason Maines has reemerged on the speedway. Now, the issue for Jason is that he is multiple laps down. He is 3 laps behind the leaders. Now, it's not an insurmountable number with him being the only car a lap down. Absolutely not insurmountable if he gets a few cautions to go his way. But the problem is, with this race becoming a pit strategy race, the question now becomes, will he get those yellow flags to get back into this one? He's going to need a lot of help from here on out. McClendon, York, Navarro, Jones, Eberhardt, McCullough, your top 6 on your screen. They're going to lap Jason Maines, put him a 4th lap down. Now, granted, they will pit here in a moment, and he will go back to 3 laps down. But these 6 that you see on your screen in front of Jason Maines still have to make their next pit cycle. So we await their cycle. I can tell you, we'll keep it here for a moment, but I can tell you that the Baker, Nagels, Triscaro group has blended with the McCullough, Garrett Maines, Brock Westmoreland group and formed one large pack. Here comes the last group to pit. It's McClendon, York, Navarro, Jones, Eberhardt, and Chris McCullough. McClendon gets the inside wall. He's going to be slow on this pit stop and have some damage, but he's able to somehow make it work, and Jason Maines will pit with them. And for now, provisionally, that'll hand the lead to Garrett Maines. So let's see how quickly this group can pit and get back out on the speedway. So Nagels, for now, gets the provisional lead. He's got a former teammate behind him here in the form of Matthew Baker, one of our championship drivers. 2 in this pack, 2 in the other group that just pit, those being Navarro and just Navarro. And Jason Maines, but Jason Maines is a few laps down. Good pit stop by Navarro and Chris McCullough. Good pit stop by this group, but I don't think it's going to be enough. They may blend at the tail end of this group. They're certainly not going to be leading the race, I don't think, like last time. And they will not. They're going to be sent to the back. They're going to have to go 3 wide here for a moment. Nagels, Baker make way. The lines move with them and form around them to let them blend back onto the speedway, and pit stop's complete. The second to last cycle, we expect one more cycle inside of lap number 60 that will take us all the way to the end of this race. The window would open right around lap 56. I do believe 57, I think, would be about the key lap you'd expect a lot of these guys to pit. Imagine they'll cut that last run in half. All right, so we have recycled the field. Cody Nagels, Garrett Maines on the front row. Matthew Baker, John Mullihan on the second row. John Ward, Michael Triscaro on row number 3. It's Kenny McCullough, Mike Davenport on row number 4. Matt Lee, David Sheets, Jeff Merck, Brock Westmoreland are with this pack. Andrew Navarro, I believe, has caught the draft, as well as Chris McCullough, Logan York, Daniel Eberhardt, Dylan Jones. Make up your 17-car, at least for now, provisional lead draft. A championship update for you as these guys go 2 by 2. In terms of the championship 4, Matthew Baker runs 4th, 2nd on the outside line. John Ward runs between 5th and 6th. He's 3rd on the inside line. Those are our top 2 in our championship 4. Andrew Navarro runs in the 13th position, just caught this lead draft. He's inside the top 15 again, as he is right there behind Brock Westmoreland on the right side of your screen. Jason Maines, the final driver on our championship 4, as we have covered already, is 4 laps down at this point in the race, and he will need a pretty hefty miracle to get back into this one. But regardless, 2 of our drivers here at the front. Navarro trying to make a comeback there on the inside. Still riding for now, a little bit early, with 1 pit stop to go, and Jason Maines is 4 laps down. In terms of the 5th through 9th drivers, Garrett Maines, Cody Nagels continue to swap the lead here at the front in 1st and 2nd. Michael Triscaro is 3rd on the outside in 6th. Logan York runs in the 14th position right now. They're 7th on the outside line. Dylan Jones is the last car in this lead draft back there behind Jason Maines in 17th. And so that is your other 5 drivers in terms of how they run right now. We'll continue to refresh where their positions are as the race gets closer to its completion tonight. Nagels, Maines continue to swap the lead 2 by 2, a gridlock here at 195 miles an hour down the Alabama Gang Superstretch. As Nagels and Maines continue to lead the way. We know that last pit cycle is coming. I figure it'll be around lap 57. That's when I would pit. That's when the window opens to be able to get all the way home based on about an 18-lap fuel run. So Nagels, Maines continue to be 2 by 2 here at the front. Baker, Mullihan continue to push their lines forward. Everybody calm for the most part right now as they await this last cycle. Now Merck and Maines up to the outside line. 3 wide here again. Jeff Merck, Jason Maines. Jason trying to get a lap back. Merck trying to go back to the front and rejoin his teammates here at the front of the field. But unfortunately, no third car with them quite yet is willing to make that jump, so they're going to stall out as their run dies a little bit here up against the safer barrier. You hear a car off the pace. That is Tucker McClendon in the 27, just up in front of the leaders as he is getting ready to go a second lap down, so that is not good news for Jason Maines. Matthew Baker sees his teammate coming, jumps out to the outside from behind Cody Nagels, and he takes the top line. Maines left with John Mullihan on the bottom. Merck continues to push hard on the back of his NBG Motorsports teammate. Give the lead back to Matthew Baker with 27 laps to go. Clears down in front of Cody Nagels in the 6. New leader at Talladega, the 5. Coasting Thunder Chevrolet Camaro of Matthew Baker. So Baker back up to duel with Garrett Maines. You knew that John Ward was getting a little bit too close for his comfort, so he goes back to the lead and now maintains the flow of the race and dictates the way this race goes, at least for the next several laps until pit stops. So again, right now, the provisional championship leader of our championship 4 is Matthew Baker in the 5. The driver who would finish in the 5th position tonight for the highest payout of the 5th through 9th drivers is currently a drag race between Garrett second and third. Nagels goes back to the lead around his former teammate. Merck going to dive up and around, I think, try to find a spot in line behind Matt Lee. He will do so. As now 50 laps are on the board. One caution tonight. A wreck involving Chris McCullough, Garrett Maines, Cody Nagels, Jeff Merck, and Matt Lee. Other than that, knock on wood, wire to wire, green flag so far. This race is flying by. Time is starting to tick down. If you're John Ward, if you're Andrew Navarro, you got to start thinking about potentially making a move here. Oh, Nagels gets loose off the bumper of Triscaro as he tries to push him forward. Everybody's all kinds of out of shape. The tires are very old at this point in the race. The grip level already low on these cars gets even lower when you consider the fact that most of these guys probably haven't taken tires the entire race, or at the worst, they've taken left side tires on green flag pit stops. Merck and Maines up to the outside again. Jason Maines trying like everything he's worth right now to get to the front of the field. He knows Tucker McClendon is still ahead of him. He needs to try to make up all the time he can get. You see McClendon, if he goes a third lap down, Jason, if he's in front of the leaders, they can race for that spot. When they come back around to get McClendon, he can pass Tucker. And try to get that spot back. Baker continues to lead. Now the 3-wide starts to work. D3 up behind Jason Maines and Jeff Merck. Andrew Navarro says it's time to go. He's in the middle. Does Logan York potentially take a look up top? Nope, stays in the middle. Navarro to the top. Jones thought about going with him. Navarro still hanging between lanes. Meanwhile, Jeff Merck makes it in a 3-car NBG battle here at the front, or 2 cars here between Baker and Merck, and Maines still riding right along the yellow line, the safest way around this track, the shortest way around. Merck going the longest distance, but has a pretty big run. But now they come separated here on the super stretch, and Merck loses a bit more time. Maines back to the lead in front of Matthew Baker. These pushers doing everything they can to keep their guy out in front and keep their line being the one that moves. We're inside of 25 laps to go on championship night of Ron Morris Racing's Tuesday Night Thunder. Baker, Maines continue to lead the way. Still Merck and Jason Maines up on the outside line, but it's not a whole lot working for them right now. They don't have a lot of extra help. So I don't think they're going to be able to do very much, and they're hanging tough. D3 wants to go with them. There just isn't much of a run there. Merck gets even up with the second row again, so now D3 goes back up there, and it's going to try to help them up. Now Merck going to get right almost to the right rear quarter panel of his NBG teammate and the race leader, Matthew Baker, but still just not a lot doing for him up there. Now D3 is back to him. Again, the cavalry has arrived, and perhaps they can make something work. In fact, the run is immediate. At the line, Baker leads that lap just barely, but now for the first time tonight, put Jeff Merck out front in the 60. So Jeff Merck, a bad luck stretch for him. He did still make the postseason here on Tuesday Night Thunder, but was eliminated before the round of 9. So unable to participate for tonight's extra championship payouts. But that certainly does not mean that he cannot participate for the racing payouts. And what a turn of luck it would be for Jeff Merck if he is able to get onto the podium here tonight, get into the money, and get a payout. He's running a good race so far here in front of Jason Maines and Daniel Eberhardt. They're going to need, I think, one more car to really make it work up there and get them to the front. They await that 4th car. 21 laps to go as lap 55 is on the board. Next time by, the final 20 laps of this Tuesday Night Thunder season will be upon us. They are 3 wide. Now they got a 4th car. Logan York says, I want to join the party. Now we're solidly 3 by 3. 3 rows deep. Trouble. Around goes Jeff Merck. Around goes the one of Garrett Maines. He pounds the inside wall. Merck goes for a spin. Jason Maines is involved as well, and the caution flag is out, and just like that, what was a great night for Jeff Merck is up in smoke one more time The second incident tonight involving the 1 and the 60. And it brings our second caution of the night out with 21 laps to go. Merck was getting a healthy push here from Jason Maines as we went down the Alabama Gang super stretch. He's already out of shape there. This is probably going to be our best look at it. We'll go back a little bit and show you what I mean. It's the same thing as we saw with Garrett on the back of Christopher McCullough earlier in the race. You see Maines is offset to the left, and as soon as he hits him, straight away, corner doesn't matter. He hooks the 60 to the left and actually gets a piece of him again, hooks him into the outside wall, so another round of damage here for Jeff Merck. I believe that's going to bring his night essentially to an end. He is already invested his fast repair, I believe. Don't quote me on that, though. I could be wrong. He might have gotten away with only using repairs, so he may still have a fast repair, so don't quote me on that yet. He gets the outside wall, and then we have what happened with Garrett Maines. You see him on the bottom in front of John Mullihan. In fact, this may be synchronized spins here. So as Merck gets turned. Oh, actually, no. So Baker is going to get hit by his teammate, Jeff Merck, and they collect Garrett Maines, and he's going to lock it down. You see the tires come to a stop, but unfortunately he's going at that wall at just too sharp an angle and careens into the inside safer barrier there at the end of the back straightaway and hits it a ton of black smoke coming out the back. In fact, that puff of black smoke may have mean the engine has expired aboard Garrett Maines' machine. His night may very well be over. After that hit the inside wall, it was right in that spot where the engine typically will blow if you hit the inside wall, and unfortunately for Garrett, that's exactly what happens right there. We'll look from up above here on the incident one more time, and you're going to see it right here. You see Maines is off to the left rear quarter of Jeff Merck, and as you hit him right there, the car very unstable when you get hit in that spot. Baker able to somehow save this car. I have no idea how he kept it going straight, but he collects Garrett Maines. The field scrambles. Jason Maines has big damage, so any hope he had of getting even close to back on the lead lap, unfortunately, he's probably done now as he invests more repair time here under this caution. Logan York able to scramble away. But for Merck and Garrett Maines, their nights are likely over. We'll go on board. I want to show you exactly what I'm talking about here with Jason Maines. And this, again, not an indictment of Jason Maines by any means. I just want to show you what I mean and how close that this is. Watch as we come off turn number 2. See, he's right on that quarter panel. He puts that center bar of the windshield, that first bar you see there on the left, the bar right under the rear view mirror. He puts that right on the taillight of Jeff Merck's machine, and unfortunately, when he does that, it sends Merck to the left side there and collects Baker and Maines, but we'll look at it from the onboard of the current championship leader, Matthew Baker, as this is a big moment for him. Oh boy, hands working left to right, trying to keep that car from spinning around. An excellent save by Matthew Baker in the 5, but and I'll tell you what, as we go back live, I was completely wrong. Jeff Merck is not out of this race yet. I thought he may have invested a fast repair under our last caution. He did not. He invests it here, and he is still very much in this race with 18 laps to go. Garrett Maines, however, is multiple laps down on pit road. Currently sits 1 lap down so far, and he actually, he's still only 1 lap down. In fact, I think he's back on the racing surface, so he only lost a lap, and he still had a fast repair. Kind of surprised on that one. I thought for sure he had taken his fast repair under the last caution, but regardless, he takes it right here, so he is still in this fight for the 5th through 9th money as well, but a setback and now a semi-late restart here means the work is cut out for the driver of that Ford Mustang. We'll reset the field for you here with 18 laps to go and get you all set with a championship rundown as well. John Mullihan is scored as the race leader. I believe it might actually be Baker up top, but nonetheless, the front row is John Mullihan and Matthew Baker. The second row is Cody Nagels and Michael Triscaro. Row 3, Kenny McCullough Jr. and Daniel Eberhardt. Row 4, a pair of championship contenders, John Ward and Andrew Navarro. And row 5 is Mike Davenport and Mike Lee. Quick championship rundown for you as we get ready to go back under the green flag. Matthew Baker leads our championship 4 as he runs on the front row. John Ward and Andrew Navarro run on row number 4. They are second and third in the championship. Jason Maines is 3 laps down as of this caution. Still will need quite a bit of help to get back to where he wants to be. The 5th through 9th drivers, Cody Nagels leads that group in 3rd. Michael Triscaro to his outside in 4th. Dylan Jones and Logan York are back there on row number 7. They are 13th and 14th. And Garrett Maines currently scored 19th, 1 lap down. And I don't know if he'll catch the field here. It's going to be awfully close. He will catch the field along with Jason Maines, so we'll see what they can do. As we are getting ready to go back under the green flag, the championship issue still to be solved. Mullihan, Baker on the front row, 17 laps to go from Talladega. Green flag is back in the air, and up through the gears they go one more time. Mullihan gets a good start on the bottom. Cody Nagels is right on the back bumper. Top side, Triscaro on the back bumper of the NBG Motorsports entry, the defending champ, Matthew Baker. Trying to go back-to-back, and what a spot he's in to do it here. Borderline perfect spot. To potentially repeat as Tuesday Night Thunder champion. Baker out to the lead on the super stretch. It's Triscaro to the back end of him. Daniel Eberhardt pushing hard on those two. It's a nice, solid group up top. Andrew Navarro is up there as well, now 3rd on the outside line. He is always dangerous to watch late in the going, and especially in a championship race like this. Triscaro able to lead the top now in front of D3. Baker down in front of Mullihan. Still 2 wide most of the way back. Nobody trying to risk 3 wide quite yet. You see Garrett and Jason Maines riding at the tail end, trying to hope that something happens here that benefits them and allows them to get another lap back. Triscaro leads the field that time by at the line. 3 wide up top. Here comes Chris McCullough and David Sheets. The McCullough teammates, Logan York trying to go with him. I think he may want to. He joins the cavalry here in the 3rd lane. Chris McCullough is coming forward, and they've got a heck of a head of steam. Onto the super stretch. Here comes Chris McCullough in the 94. Triscaro and Baker continue to drag race down the super stretch. Eberhardt now the lead pusher on the top. Mullihan the lead pusher on the bottom. Into 3. McCullough's all the way up to 4th. He's up to 3rd. He's to the right rear quarter panel of the leader, Michael Triscaro in 3. York doing an excellent job supporting that run. Sheets doing an excellent job pushing. Mike Davenport joins the 3rd lane. He wants to go with the leaders. He's now 4th in the 3rd line. So 3 wide one more time. 4 rows deep. Baker able to push back forward to the race lead. 15 laps to go in this season of Tuesday Night Thunder. Baker, Triscaro 1-2 so far. They would win the championship and the 5th place bonus respectively. But some guys have something to say about that. Now Navarro is boxed in the middle. John Ward trying to get up to the 3rd lane. He's boxed in right now as well in the middle, about 6 cars back. McCullough pokes the nose out front just for a quick moment. Will the run keep going, or will it fade? Sheets trying to get him clear. Not going to be able to. Not quite. And now the run will stall just a little bit. Baker drives hard back to the bottom here, trying to get clear maybe of Triscaro to block this run. Mullihan way off of him. It allows Triscaro to get a good drive. McCullough will get a nice drive off 4 as well. Chris McCullough is going to go to the lead right here. He's going to try to clear down in front of Triscaro. Can't take it too early, though, or the run will stall. John Ward looks 4 wide. He wants a little bit more than Mike Davenport even, but now thinks better of it. Fades back in line. Triscaro able to get a decent enough push from Eberhardt to keep him alongside McCullough. Baker able to get enough push on the bottom from Mullihan to keep him alongside. This 3-way battle for the lead. McCullough now leads a 6-car 3rd line. It's 6 rows here of 3 wide. John Ward is trapped further back, as is Andrew Navarro, who's trapped 3rd in the middle. This is heaven to Matthew Baker leading the race, seeing the championship contenders pretty much boxed in further back with nothing that they can do. Baker up to block and let Mullihan cool off. Triscaro to the back bumper of him, gives him a shove right here at the entrance of the tri-oval. So Mullihan pulls ahead just a little bit to the lead. The 3rd line now stalling in a huge way. They are going backwards. McCullough, Sheets, York, and Davenport are going the wrong way here. It's going to allow Andrew Navarro eventually to get clear of the third lane, but it's still a little bit early for him to take it, I would think, especially without any help. Now, he does have Eberhardt here at the front of the field with him. I believe they are running together with Dylan Jones. Eberhardt takes the third lane in front of McCullough, so give that third lane a new boost, a new form of a run here down the back straightaways. McCullough's got fresh temp. He can push all he wants down the backstretch. Eberhardt wants to lead. Navarro now up to third in line in the middle. Eberhardt in front of McCullough. He leads the third line. He will go to the lead here on the exit of turn number 4. Mullahan, Nagels, McCullough, and Merck on the bottom of the racetrack. Merck has torn his way back through the field, trying to get back to the front. Move the lead to the 90 of D3. Here in the trial, he will probably clear Matthew Baker. It's going to be awfully close here as we head into 1. He will get just enough of a run, I think, to clear down. He may be able to go all the way down if he so chooses. He chooses to just go in front of Baker here, go right to the middle, and leave Mullahan on the bottom. I imagine he will turn to the bottom here when the run starts to come. There it is. Turns down off the bumper of Baker. Now McCullough leads the third line again. David Sheets able to get a few seconds to cool off. Not a ton, but they are able to pull alongside Matthew Baker again, so a three-way battle for second. Eberhardt continues to lead the way, though, pretty solidly here. Baker and Triscaro doing a good enough job to keep McCullough up top in the second lane. They've got a side draft hard. Mullahan is not hot here. Sheets is hot. Their run's going to die. Eberhardt back up to Baker. Mullahan needs to cool off one more time. And so Eberhardt goes back up into the hands of Matthew Baker. A little bit of trouble there between McCullough and Sheets. They all make contact. That third line stacks up, and their run fades just a little bit. Side by side up front between Mullahan and Eberhardt. 11 laps to go at Talladega as they fly past the flag stand. Keep in mind, any caution inside of about 6 laps to go will result in an overtime attempt. Keep that in mind. 3 overtime attempts available should they need them. If not, we're going to run this thing out 11 laps to the checkered flag here of Tuesday Night Thunder. It is down to it. It is go time. If you are going to make a move and you are in the Championship 4 or the 5th through 9th group, you have to go right now. There is no choice. You must go right now. Eberhardt continues to lead the middle. Mullahan continues to lead the bottom. Chris McCullough and David Sheets and Logan York in that group are doing an incredible job keeping the third lane up alongside the middle. In fact, McCullough pulls forward to a slight lead here at the line. 10 laps to go in Tuesday Night Thunder Season 3. Both lines kind of shuffle out just a little bit as Eberhardt drops back to the bottom from in front of Matthew Baker. Baker now able to lead the second lane, and Triscaro, a renewed interest now in pushing on the back of Baker. He knows what's at stake here for the 5. He knows what's at stake for himself as well. Bonuses everywhere to be had tonight between the race payouts. Navarro makes his move. Andrew Navarro to the outside in front of Chris McCullough. He wants to go to the front. He's decided that now is the time to strike for the championship. He's got the 94 behind him. The problem is the line faded as Logan York jumped out of line. Now the McCullough boys all jump up there. Kenny's up in line, I believe. No, it's not. It's Mike Davenport. David Sheets, Danny Eshelman as well behind their teammate, but the line is fading. No help out back for the 94. Did Navarro make the wrong move? 9 laps to go. Baker sees it. He says, I see that. Checkmate. Jumps in front of the 44. The 5 now leads the third lane. Mullahan, meanwhile, has been able to drive back to the bottom. Now he jumps up and allows Kenny a chance to cool. Jeff Merck has made his way back to the front of the field. Trouble, around goes Merck. Right as I said that, Merck pounds the inside wall, and he's around, and his night will come to an end. Unfortunately, it will not bring out a caution, but wheel damage, heavy wheel damage aboard the 60. And unfortunately will bring his night to an end, at least for now. But back up front, Navarro McCullough continued to run the third lane. Baker was able to get clear and get back down in front of Eberhardt and lead the race. It's championship on the line between the 5 and the 44. The 92 needs to match play this if he's going to be in the championship fight. The field laps Tucker McClendon again. He goes another lap down. I believe this is going to be beneficial to Jason Maines wherever he is on the racetrack right now as they lap by a damaged Tucker McClendon. 8 laps to go in the championship race here at Talladega. Baker had a teammate coming to the front, Jeff Merck, but unfortunately he loses him right there in an incident. We do not have time to look at it. We'll look at it at the end of the race if we get a chance. Baker back to the lead as they drag race down the super stretch. Navarro trying everything he can. He knows he's made his bet. He has made his bed in this championship race by going to the third lane. I think it's a little bit too early, but unfortunately, maybe it won't be. Baker's left hanging here in the middle. Eberhardt jumps up and brings Navarro with him. It'll be side by side for the title. So far, 8 laps to go. Triscaro back to the back of Matthew Baker. He had a second to back off a little bit and cool while he was third in line. Mullahan drives back to the lead. Eberhardt may clear Baker. They're up to side draft here. The tactics are getting just a little bit more sketchy. Late in the race, trouble! Around goes Eberhardt. He turns Baker. Several of the championship drivers involved in spinning sideways. It's the big one in turns 1 and 2, and several cars are involved. Championship contenders are in it. Andrew Navarro, Matthew Baker have damage. Baker has lost the front end of the 5 machine. Navarro with pretty serious looking damage on his machine as well. In fact, I think wheel damage, and it is crab walking. Is the 44 just the slightest bit? Chris McCullough is involved. David Sheets is involved. Cody Nagels is involved. The big one strikes with 7 laps to go in the championship race. Wow. And this started when Daniel Eberhardt got turned in front of the field off the bumper of championship contender Andrew Navarro. Let's see what the best camera is to see this one. I think TV Follow is going to be the one. And right there, it's the same story. The third incident tonight because of a left rear bumper hook. And look at the championship implications of this one. Baker goes sideways. Navarro goes sideways. Triscaro goes sideways. Navarro is going to hit the outside wall. That's where I think the wheel damage comes from. Cody Nagels pounds the outside wall, goes up in the air. Triscaro gets hit. John Ward is in this as well. He's got front end damage. All 3 championship 4 members on the lead lap are in this incident. Westmoreland, Sheets, Chris McCullough, Danny Eschleman. Who's not involved? See Westmoreland there's Nagel slides down the banking. Baker's got big damage. And a lot to unpack right here. So we'll go back. We'll look at it again. Again, this started with Daniel Eberhardt. You see it there on the left side of your screen. We got to go up top, I think, to get a pretty good view of this one. And that's exactly what we will do. So the bumper hook's already happened. We'll go back and show that to you so you can see again what I mean. Watch when Navarro gets offset to the left here on Eberhardt right there. It's the same push we've seen guys give all night. Navarro pushing extra hard, knowing he's racing for a title right there, and this sparks a massive wreck here at the front of the field. Mullahan gets through it. McCullough gets through it. Logan York gets through it. You see Navarro get turned right there, as well as Baker and Nagels. Mark Vondell is in it. Actually, Mullahan gets turned off the bumper of his teammate Kenny McCullough after the initial wreck starts. Sheets, Eschleman, you see Davenport. I think he's going to get a piece of Baker there. He gets it right there. Brock Westmoreland's involved. I believe Matt Lee might have snuck through it as well. Again, a lot to unpack here in this late race incident. We'll try to get you one more angle of this one. There's so much that happens as part of this incident that it's going to be hard to pick up everything. As they went into turn number 1, Navarro was pushing Eberhardt. It's their only choice. Navarro, like I said, had kind of played his cards. He'd gone to the outside. He knew what he was racing for at that point, and a bad push the back of his running mate tonight, Daniel Eberhardt. Baker tries everything in his power to save this car. He's hooked all the way to the right, and unfortunately, he's going to get collected and get some pretty sizable damage aboard that machine. Nagels pounds the outside wall. May have expired the engine aboard his machine. A lot of cars involved in this one. So we go back up front and try to regroup this for you, because it is, I don't think it's going to be overtime. I think we're going to have a natural 3-lap shootout here, but regardless, a lot to unpack out of that restart, out of that caution, excuse me, as a ton of our playoff cars are involved in that one in one way or another. So we will update it for you right now. John Mullahan, Kenny McCullough, Logan York, Dylan Jones all got through that incident. A couple others did as well. Matt Lee, I thought, got through it. Perhaps not, as he is on for pit service. But more importantly, we'll run down the playoff situation for you now. Andrew Navarro, after all that, remains P6. He is on his final car of the night, I do believe. We'll check and see if he's still got any damage aboard that machine, but I think he had wheel damage. And if that's the case, if it was suspension damage, it requires a fast repair in most cases to still remain competitive. Looks like he is on his final car. He leads the Championship 4 race. Matthew Baker is 2 spots behind him, and he will be behind him on the outside of the racetrack here, and notably has a teammate 2 rows back in the form of Matt Lee that will go with him when he does decide to go 3 wide. The third of our 4 is John Ward. He had to use a fast repair in that incident. He's catching the field, but he runs 14th now and has his work cut out for him. So again, Navarro 6th, Baker 8th, Ward 14th. That's still the race for the championship. And I'll tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, my scoring, oh boy, this is going to get real interesting, folks. Put a 4th guy back in the championship 4. Jason Maines, by some miracle, has made it back on the lead lap. He is 17th position, so a lot of work to be done, but he has worked his way back. Jason Maines will have a look at the championship if he can gain some spots here on this restart. Miss any incidents, he is back in this race. So all 4 drivers are now back in at the championship 4. Now, for the 5th through 9th points, Dylan Jones leads that race. He's second on the outside next to Logan York. They're dead even right now for the 5th place bonus. Michael Triscaro is going to line up 10th here behind Matthew Baker, so you expect if Baker goes, Triscaro may go with him to try to get that bonus. He runs right now in 10th. Garrett Maines is back on the lead lap. He is 16th here. And Cody Nagels, the final of our 5th through 9th, I think is back on the racetrack, but he is 1 lap down, so he'll need another caution to get back in that race when it comes down to it. We've waited all season for potentially the final restart of the night. This could be it. 3 laps to go from the Talladega Superspeedway. We're going to put all 4 of our driver camera drivers up on the big screen here for what could be the last restart of the night. Green flag, 3 laps to go. Championship night on Tuesday Night Thunder. Holohan and McCullough dead even as they head towards turn number 1 and get up through the gears. Matthew Baker is the man to watch in the 5. He's right behind his championship rival tonight, Andrew Navarro, in the 44. Off the racetrack goes Danny Eshelman. A problem there for him, perhaps just bailing out of the field. Kenny McCullough able to drive forward to the lead. When does Baker make his move? He's got to calculate it here. Now with only 2 cars on the outside, it could be very easy for him to potentially make a move to the outside. Dylan Jones pulls even with Kenny McCullough Jr. here on the backstretch. Andrew Navarro leads the championship race, but not by much. Matthew Baker is right on his tail. We'll tuck these guys back away for a moment as they come off turn number 4. Dylan Jones to the lead. The improbable season continues for the 11 machine. He's pushed by Andrew Navarro. Eberhardt to the outside. He's going to test 3rd lane. Matthew Baker, he's going to have to see an opportunity right here, I think, but the run starts to stall. Davenport and Westmoreland bail out. They were with him, and now they bail out. I don't think Baker has a choice. He's got to go, and he's got to go quickly here. I think when you get off turn number 2, Eberhardt dives out again. Baker looks. Triscaro goes with him. They've got Eberhardt coming. Here is the cavalry. Matthew Baker alongside Andrew Navarro, potentially for the championship. Jones goes to block. They're 4 wide. Baker goes a lane higher. York goes to the bottom. Navarro door slams with Mullahan. They're trying to get it sorted out. Baker down to side draft. Now going to slide right in behind Andrew Navarro. What a move by Matthew Baker. Trouble. Behind him. Around goes Matt Lee, Dylan Jones, and Daniel Eberhardt. Garrett Maines is in it. Mark Vondell and Brock Westmoreland are in it, and the caution flag is out again. Take a deep breath. We're not done yet. And so we will head to overtime with that caution coming out, the 4th of the night. The pace car picks up leader Kenny McCullough. We will go back and take a look. It started back around Matt Lee as they tried to sort out this 4 wide. I'll tell you what, a couple confusing things. We're actually going to go back and watch the whole sequence here. As they come down the backstretch, we'll try to get a better look at it here. So Matthew Baker and Michael Triscaro stepped out much as I figured that they would. This is going to be our best angle here. So you're going to see up ahead as Baker and Triscaro are stepped out. Dylan Jones, inexplicably here, blocks the 3rd lane. I think Navarro had a pretty good push going for him. Baker obviously can't wait there. York takes the spot that they vacate, and it stacks up the middle with Matt Lee and Brock Westmoreland. And You see Baker and Triscaro, I mean, that was the only move they had there for both of their sake. York sees the run die, drops back to the bottom. And this is where the trouble's going to start as Eberhardt starts to come back down the racetrack. Lee actually overcorrects, goes back up. And as he comes down off of Eberhardt's door, there's going to be some contact here. This is the one I'm a little bit confused about with Baker going back in behind Navarro. Regardless, for that point, it works. But then when Navarro is back up in front of Baker, it checks up the line. And I think Daniel Eberhardt's going to run down the hill here trying to get in behind Dylan Jones, and I don't think he realizes they're 3 wide. Eberhardt hangs a left, and unfortunately gets into Matt Lee. Brock Westermerlin pounds the outside wall. He's got big damage. Eberhardt, Lee, and Jones go for a spin. Mark Vondell gets involved. Garrett Maines, who just gotten back on the lead lap, gets involved. John Ward slides by the thinnest of margins. John Ward saved his season right there, and we'll go back and look at that in a minute. I just happened to catch the tail end. John Ward, 100% saves his season. We'll go up above, actually. I'll give you a pretty good example of what I'm talking about with John Ward. They start to wreck. The 92 is the red, white, and blue car there at the bottom part of your screen. You'll see Garrett Maines, nowhere to go for him, nowhere to go for Westmoreland. Nowhere to go for Vondell, who's going to get in the back of Garrett. Watch John Ward. Oh, my goodness, the 92. How did he miss that? And now in a prime championship position. Goodness. So John Ward, in the portion of that wreck, saves his season. Go take another look at it here before we go on board with John Ward, because I'm going to want to see that onboard camera look with John Ward. We'll try to get one more look at the incident here. You see Eberhardt come down the racetrack. Lee, I think it spooks him a little bit. He comes down. Then you see Davenport's actually washed up a half a lane. That's what scares Lee off that time. He's getting squeezed. You see these moves start to happen. I think Lee's going to try to go to the bottom here, and Garrett Maines fills the hole, and Lee has to wash back up. And, yeah, see, look at Eberhardt. He hangs a left almost as if Matt Lee's not there. And unfortunately, they are 3 wide at that point. Lee and Eberhardt come together. Dylan Jones, an innocent bystander. Same with Garrett Maines and Mark Vondell. And look at John Ward. Narrowly missed being hooked there by Matt Lee. One last time before we go green, I want to go on board with John Ward here. And just give you an idea of what he just saw. You're on board with Championship 4 driver John Ward. Oh my goodness, the PGR champ finds a way to do it again and misses a big wreck. And once again, we will sort this out for you in terms of championship. In terms of championship and in terms of race in general. And here we go. Kenny McCullough is your race leader. You see him flip-flop with John Mullahan there. I believe he's the race leader. Actually, it might be John Mullahan here. One of these two is the race leader, but John Mullahan, Kenny McCullough are on the front row. Andrew Navarro is third after all of that, with Logan York in the 4th position. Matthew Baker runs 5th. Mike Davenport runs 6th. Michael Triscaro runs in 7th. John Ward runs in 8th. Danny Eshelman, Dylan Jones round out the top 10. David Sheets runs 11th. Jason Maines is 12th, by far not out of this yet. Cody Nagels is back on the lead lap as well. Good catch by Devin Ray in the YouTube chat. Cody Nagels is back on the lead lap. Virtue the lucky dog there on that incident. He runs in the 13th position. He's there at the tail end of the field. Matt Lee and Garrett Maines are your last 2 cars on the lead lap. Garrett Maines and Matt Lee still trying to catch the field. You see Garrett there on the back stretch. Lee right there in turn 2. Brock Westmoreland is a lap down. Tucker McClendon is multiple laps down. And drivers out of the race at this point still on pit road. Mark Vondell, Daniel Eberhardt, Christopher McCullough, and Jeff Mert. So here we go. Championship rundown for you. Navarro leads the championship 4. He runs 3rd. Matthew Baker will line up right behind him on the inside. He runs 5th. John Ward made it through the wreck and runs in 8th. Probably the best spot of any of the championship contenders here. And Jason Maines runs in 12th. So all 4 of your championship contenders are in the top 12. 5th through 9th. Logan York runs 4th. Michael Triscaro runs in 7th. Dylan Jones runs in 10th. Garrett Maines runs in 13th. And Cody Nagels runs in 15th. The stakes are high, and we're going to sort it out for you here. 2 laps to go. Overtime attempt number 1. Will we finish it right here? Green flag. 2 laps for a championship in Tuesday Night Thunder. Kenny McCullough gets an excellent jump. Logan York does as well. Kenny right to the bottom. John Ward, this is going to profit him in a big way. Same with Jason Maines, as now Navarro and Baker are buried on the bottom. Can the PGR champ pull out another huge win tonight? The question will be, can Navarro get clear here on the backstretch? I don't think he'll be able to. John Ward just, I think, has to trust the process here, third in line in the middle. Jason Maines, his only choice is to go topside, upstairs, and try to make something happen. Middle line pushing hard. Baker tries to get up, forces his way into the middle line. Matthew Baker's up. He's going to have a look at this as well. Logan York to the lead on the outside of Kenny McCullough. Mike Davenport pushing hard on the back of him. John Ward and Andrew Navarro made borderline drag race here off turn number 4. That's for the provisional championship lead. Logan York pokes the 0-2's nose out front, drops to the bottom. Here comes Davenport, Ward, and Baker. White flag. Who will get the title? 1 lap to go at Talladega. Logan York, pretty good spot here on the bottom. John Ward trying to push Mike Davenport and beat those other 3 back to the line. Jason Maines is topside. Upstairs with Dylan Jones. They just don't have a lot of help. Mike Davenport going to have to hope for a good push here from trouble. Around goes Michael Triscaro. He collects Jason Maines and one other. That's Dylan Jones. Maines waves his way through the wreck. Baker is going to have to do something big here on John Ward. Navarro, can he drag race Ward to the line? I don't think he can. He's still buried on the bottom. How dicey does this get? Can he go for the win? Navarro, can he get clear? Can he drag race Ward? Drag race for the title. Drag race for the race. Trouble! Around goes Mullahan. They collect Ward. It's a drag race for the title. It's a drag race for the race. Who's going to win the race? Kenny and Logan York door slam. They door bang again. Who's going to get it done? All the way home. Kenny McCullough wins. Andrew Navarro is the Tuesday Night Thunder champion. What a finish. They wreck him up in turn 1. Kenny McCullough gets the race win. Andrew Navarro finishes a dominant season with a Tuesday Night Thunder championship. And unfortunately, he's not even going to be able to celebrate. The engine expires after the checkered flag. Kenny will be able to celebrate, though, so we'll give him an opportunity. And so much to go through here. Kenny McCullough, a good win for him. A multi-win season for him here in Season 3 of Tuesday Night Thunder. And he will come down and celebrate. We will sort out all of your championship things for you here in a moment. I can tell you for sure that Andrew Navarro is the Season 3 Tuesday Night Thunder champion by virtue of a second-place finish. Matthew Baker comes just a little bit short. The man of the hour right now is Kenny McCullough. And as he celebrates, what a win it is for him. Logan York, I'll tell you what, it's a tough break. He looked like he was going to win the race. Kenny got to his outside and was able to drag race him. And so much to sort out over the last lap. So, a lot to go through. Stick around. You're going to get to hear from your top 3 in the race. Kenny McCullough, Andrew Navarro, and Matthew Baker here in just a moment. We're going to go back and recap the white flag lap for you. Somehow, I have no idea how we're going to recap this, but we're going to try here. So, coming to the white flag, we're going to try to recap everything that happened here over the course of the final 2.66 miles of this Tuesday Night Thunder season. So, off turn number 2, you're going to see Dylan Jones get collected in an incident here as they got onto the super stretch. That's behind the leaders. We're going to try to get a little bit better angle of that for you. We're actually going to go up top. It's actually Triscaro that gets turned off the bumper of Garrett Maines in front of Dylan Jones. So Triscaro gets turned, keeps it off the wall, but he and Dylan Jones are out of the race at this point. They scramble behind these guys. John Ward at this point I thought was in the best position of any of the 4. The outside line, a pusher behind him in Baker, who, I mean, was going to have to wait till the last second to go. And clean track with full rein to push Mike Davenport. And then going into 3, you're going to see some contact, actually some netcode contact between John Mullihan and Mike Davenport. That slows down that outside line. And coming into 3, this is where things go awry here for John Ward. This was going to be an excellent race to the finish between our 3 championship contenders. If this had stayed all set, I'm not exactly sure. I think Ward may get off to the left of Davenport here. Oh, he lifts. He knows he's on the left rear quarter. Still good, actually, here at this point in turn 4. I'm really not sure. I think he may get pushed through. Oh, Mullihan's going up. He netcodes with Mike Davenport right there. You see it. They hit the outside wall, and oh, man, John Ward gets collected. There at the end, an innocent bystander. And pounds the outside wall. His championship hopes in smoke. And then we go up front. You see Kenny McCullough steps out on Logan York, and behind them, almost in sync, Matthew Baker goes to the outside of Andrew Navarro, and I think what happens here is I think Baker's going to beat Navarro to the line. He has a pretty good angle on him right here. The problem is York bounces off of McCullough's left side door. When he comes back up, Navarro's forced to overcorrect, go up the track. He washes. And unfortunately, I think Baker's going to have to wash as well. Gets hit just a tad. And is about a half a car length short. Actually makes some contact with Navarro there in the tri-oval. And actually, this makes this really close. But nonetheless, what a finish from Talladega. Kenny McCullough, I mean, you want to talk about big wins. This is for sure a big one for Kenny. And we'll show you the margin of victory here at the start-finish line. Try to get it here at the start-finish line. Show you the margin of victory for Kenny McCullough. And there it is. That is your margin of victory in a championship race nonetheless. And what a finish it was. Kenny McCullough comes away with a victory, and what a win it is for Kenny. And a championship tonight for Andrew Navarro. So, with all that being said, we'll give you your finishing results first of tonight's race before we hear from the top 3. Kenny McCullough wins the race tonight in the 0-3 machine from McCullough Motorsports. He gets a $200 payout. Andrew Navarro, by virtue of a second-place finish, is the Season 3 Tuesday Night Thunder Series champion. Matthew Baker comes up just short but finishes second in the championship and gets a nice payday for finishing third. Logan York, what a great effort for him again. That's back-to-back good efforts in these big-money races for him. Another payout for him, and actually the highest paid of the 5 drivers not in the championship 4, and I'll give you an idea of what that payout's going to look like for Logan York. About $225 tonight for Logan, so he comes away with a pretty nice payday. The payday for Navarro is more in the range of about $450 for being the champion tonight. But regardless, Matt Lee finishes 5th. Danny Eshelman finishes in 6th. Garrett Maines finishes 2nd of our 5th through 9th drivers. Cody Nagels finishes 8th, 3rd of our 5 through 9 drivers. David Sheets finishes 9th. Jason Maines finishes 10th, the 3rd of our championship 4. Dylan Jones finishes in 11th. I believe the 4th of our 5 through 9 drivers. Mike Davenport finishes 12th. Michael Triscaro, the final of our 5 through 9 drivers tonight. John Mullihan finishes in 14th. John Ward, final of our championship 4. You saw what happened with him at the tail end of that race, finishes in 15th. Brock Westmoreland finishes in the 16th position tonight. Tucker McLennan in 17th. Daniel Eberhard 18th. Mark Mondell 19th. Chris McCullough in 20th. And Jeff Merck rounds out your 21-car field. We're going to go grab your top 3-4 interviews. We're going to stay right here and go to the man who finished 3rd and 2nd in the championship race tonight. The championship 4, might I add, 2nd just a little bit short for Matthew Baker tonight, but I'm sure he will not be mad at the payout he's getting in back-to-back seasons. We'll see what he's got to say about it. Hey, Baker, it's Dawson up in the booth. You got a copy?
Oh, man.
Well, it does not turn out the way I'm sure you wanted it to. You come up a half a car length short, but nonetheless a dominant effort for you tonight. Just kind of take me through it, and especially that last sequence between you and Andrew Navarro.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. The restart before that, when they wrecked behind Andrew and I, we both split Dylan 4 wide. That just shows you how much the championship means to us. It's only $100 difference between first and second, but to get the bragging rights of going back to back would have been nice. But it was a good battle to the line. I wish I would have kept it on Andrew's door a little more. I didn't know Logan was gonna almost spin himself out into Kenneth, and that just gave the draft to Andrew from Kenneth, and it pushed me up the hill. I tried everything I could, came up a little short, but it was still a lot of fun. 4 wide action, 3 wide action the whole race. It just shows you how good this league can be.
Well, absolutely, and kind of take me through it, because I know that some guys' expectations of this race are maybe that it would be a kind of a rough one, a caution fest maybe perhaps, and instead it turns into mostly fuel strategy. We have a few cautions, but besides that, excellent racing tonight. What went into it with the field of drivers? What changed in the mindset of the drivers tonight to give us that good of racing?
I think we all thought if we got to the pit stop, we could possibly separate ourselves, but we're so good as a group together when it comes to pit stops now, and we show it on Thursdays in the trucks with the Xfinity car. We've had to practice over these past after the season making the switch to the Xfinity car. I think that we're all pretty even on pit stops. So once that first pit stop happened and we realized that there's not going to be much separation between the top 20 guys, it was just an all-out brawl and just trying to make it to that pit stop. There was a strategy, earlier towards the midpoint of the race where we thought we could short pit, and the short pit wasn't so much to try and break away from those guys. It was just more to stay away from them, to keep the car clean.
Well, nonetheless, you come home third in the race, you come home second in the championship. It's still a very impressive payday, close to $300-400 here for you tonight, and it's a dominant season. So, reflect on the season that you had. You were coming in as the champion. You obviously hope to defend that tonight. You come up second. It's another great run for you. Just kind of take me through the season as a whole, and how you're going to think about the result of this season.
You just got to keep your foot on the gas pedal, honestly, throughout the season. We had the win in your in, so I could kind of let off, but I knew that I was fighting for the regular season championship. So it just makes you want to race hard, every single race as hard as you can. And these are some of the best guys out here to do it against. And it's really been preparing all of these guys. I know, half of them are entering in the podium in the ERA race. So big money on the line there. And I really hope to see one of these Superspeedway regulars up there competing for the win and to get their name out on the scene, to get the money racing bigger out on the scene. We've been growing. PGR and Ron get constant numbers. FEG same. Fridays are getting some good numbers, so it's good to see the growth still happening, but I'd like to see the numbers go up a little more, and what better way than to put it on the main stage of podium or ERA.
Well, absolutely. We look forward to seeing how this community fares in that race here in just a few weeks' time. Well, you finished second in the championship. You finished third here tonight, so while I've got you up here for a second, anybody like to thank or shout out?
Yeah, just first and foremost, thanks to Ron for putting on the great season that he did. It had its highs and lows, but I think we really put on a show there. The top championship 4 all there at the end, coming out of 4, trying to battle it to the line. A lot of fun. Thanks to you and Austin all season, putting on a great broadcast. A lot of good moments out there, a lot of good calls, great races that rival a lot of the Superspeedway races that we've had in the past. Thanks to all the competitors this season. Congrats to Andrew on the win. He's the most deserving, was a points leader coming into it, and really dominated the season. So it's nice to see a playoff format not really screw him out of the money that he deserved, but it was a lot of fun to get up there and compete with them. Just thanks to my sponsors, Coasting Thunder, MVG Motorsports, Baker & Son Construction. Thanks to the teammates, Jeff Merck and Matt Lee all season. It was a great season. They didn't have the luck that I had getting through the playoffs or really cashing in the playoff spots, but they were able to help me and get me to the front in the track position for me to make the moves I did all season to get up here in the championship 4 and have a shot. So I can't thank them enough. Thanks to the family for watching all season. their support. I wouldn't do it without their support. It's a lot of fun to hear them after the races. So thanks, Mom. Thanks, Grandma, my wife, and then cousins and Grandma, everyone watching at home. I love you guys. And yeah, I think that's it. Great season, man. I can't wait to do it again. I know we're going to take a few weeks off. So Thursdays are going to be the main focus for Ghost Racing going forward for a little bit. But, Ron's going to come back probably with a new format, and it's just going to be just as good racing as we've seen before.
Well, we absolutely look forward to what's to come. Congratulations to you on a fantastic season and a great run tonight on third place effort. Congrats. Go enjoy it, and we will see you next season.
Thanks, bud.
Matthew Baker in the 5, the first man we are talking to tonight. And that brings us to the man of the hour tonight, the driver of the 44, Andrew Navarro, your Season 3 champion of Tuesday Night Thunder. And we'll see what he's got to say about it. Hey, Andrew, it's Dawson up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yep.
Well, you're a champion here in this season of Tuesday Night Thunder. Take me through that last sequence. What you saw as you and Baker drag race to the line and how you were able to pull this one off and become a champion tonight.
Well, it started off way before that drag race. It was looking like I was going to be the dead last one of the Final Four with Jason on the top and then Baker and Ward in front of me in the middle. And I was like, oh, no. This just went from really good to really bad. And then I think Jason wrecked out of 2. And then I don't know what happened. It was the massive net code. Mullahan just cleaned out Ward. Nothing anybody could have done there. And then I saw Baker behind me, and I'm like, oh no. So just huge shout out to Baker for not, absolutely destroying me there. He raced me really clean when he could have just absolutely KO'd me. I actually got into him a little bit trying to avoid Logan. So massive respect to him. Shout out to him. And just a chaotic finish. I didn't think I would be finishing in the money, let alone even finishing top 3 of the championship. So I'm pretty happy with it.
Well, absolutely, and it's a fantastic season for you overall. It's a dominant season. We saw you win multiple races and really have one of the better postseasons as well. You finished it off tonight with a second-place finish. So, kind of reflect on your season for a minute, how you got to where you were, and how you got through this season as great as you did and came home a champion.
Yeah, I definitely went the, I guess it's not controversial route for Superspeedway, but kind of just the Denny Hamlin way of it and just kind of chilled in the back. I had 0 stage points all season long. And I ended up finishing, I think, 2 points back of the regular season championship. But obviously I won 3 races, so it gave me a huge points buffer. And I really just only cared about the finish. I didn't really care about the stages until about last week. Last week I knew I needed some stage points, and then I would be able to finish 15th and still be good. But I just wanted to race conservatively, not get in anybody's way. Did that kind of well. Had to turn up the aggression a little bit today. Didn't even really do that much, but just kind of fell into my place, or fell into my lap right there, and we were able to come out the winner. So just fun. Rom hosting it was great fun. Probably one of the best super speedway leagues I've ever been. One of the best leagues I've been in general. So huge shout out to Ron for putting it on.
Well, absolutely. And as we come to the end of the season here, you're the champion, and you're here as the second place finisher in tonight's race. So while I've got you here for a second, is there anybody you'd like to thank or shout out?
Yeah, I'd like to thank Premier Racing Setups, everyone in there. Setup wise, and if you ever want to buy a setup, go to those guys. They're also a great team, really helped me out this year. Thank you to Daniel and Dylan for working with me most of the year. They worked with me tonight. And then thank you to Jason, Garrett. I've also worked with them during the year. Everybody that's, helped this year. Baker for not absolutely destroying me there when I got into him. 7Cs, Martin Sports, Adrenaline Capture, Celebrity Cruises. You guys for broadcasting, Ron for, putting on the league, putting on the races.
All right, well, congratulations on a fantastic run tonight, an incredible dominant season, and congratulations most of all on the championship here in Tuesday Night Thunder, and we will see you next season.
Thank you.
Andrew Navarro, your Season 3 champion of the Tuesday Night Thunder Series, and that brings us to our final interview tonight, and that will be with the man who won the race, spoiled the championship party, and that is Kenny McCullough Jr. We'll get to see what he's got to say about his victory here tonight. Hey, Kenny, it's Dawson in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you, brother.
Well, you kind of spoiled the championship party a little bit tonight. They have to resort to finishing second. You get the job done. Take me through that chaotic last sequence there on the last lap between you and Navarro and Baker, and as well as Logan York, and how you ended up in victory lane.
Man, I got to thank Mollahan, my teammate there. He was doing a great job pushing me there. I thought me and him was going to get clear there and be able to jump up and have a good run there and get both of us in the money. I hated to jump out on Logan. I thought I made a bad move there by just not pushing Logan and jumping out. I seen Navarro coming, and, man, it looked like they had the biggest run, so I had to block whatever cars had the strongest run coming there. Man, that was a good race, though. I was able to watch that full wide racing. I had a good view of it, sat back there just watching. Everybody did a good job tonight, though.
Well, absolutely did. It was fantastic racing all night, and kind of reflect on your season. We saw you win multiple races. You end the season with a win in the best way that anybody can, and that's a trip to victory lane. So, take a second, reflect on your season as a whole and the success that you had over the course of this season.
Yeah, I was a little disappointed I didn't make the championship there, but, it goes that way sometimes. Haven't had the best luck in these Xfinity cars, but starting to get them figured out a little better. And, man, the season's been pretty decent for the most part. Just got to clean it up a little bit and try to get in position at the end of these things. Main important thing is being there at the end. If you're sitting on pit road, you ain't going to have a chance to win it.
Well, not the case for you tonight, as you do get to victory lane. You're able to win the final race of the season, go out with a bang here tonight from Talladega. So, while I've got you up here for a second, is there anybody you'd like to thank or shout out?
Yeah, thank you, man. You and Austin for doing these broadcasts. Y'all do a hell of a job. Got to thank them awesome teammates I got. You can't ask for a better group of guys. And got to thank Ron for putting this thing on week in and week out, even though I know we're a headache sometimes to him. But, yeah, thank all the fans, too, for watching and tuning in each week.
All right, well, congratulations on a fantastic run tonight. A victory for you to end off the season. Congrats on the success that you had this season, and hopefully we will see you next season.
Yes, sir, brother. Thank you a lot.
Kenny McCullough in the 0-3, the final man we're talking to here tonight. And that is going to just about do it. I want to thank everybody for coming out and watching as I flew solo tonight. Certainly a tall task to try to figure out all the point scenarios tonight. What a race it was, by the way. Just a quick note on that. I'm almost positive all of our drivers that were in that championship battle, if you will, I believe they all finished inside the top 14, at least on my results. At the very least, inside the top 14. 9 drivers inside the top 14 of tonight's race that were in a points battle. So what a race it was. I mean, all the great moments we've had over the course of the season. Thank you so much to everyone for coming out over the past several Tuesday nights, whether it's been me, whether it's been Austin, whether it's been me and Austin. We both thank you a lot. I know I speak for Austin. We are so grateful for the support that you guys give us week in, week out. It means the world to us to be able to come up here and bring you these races and to get to bring this kind of content to you. I know Austin would be saying something similar if he were with me here tonight. We're going to be back next season, as far as I know, on Tuesday nights. I know you heard Baker kind of talk about we're going to take a few weeks off here on Tuesdays, but we will be back. All your favorite drivers should be back in the field, and myself and Austin, as of right now, I'm going to be back up in the broadcast booth behind the microphone calling these races again, and I cannot wait. This has become my favorite series to broadcast over the past several weeks for the quality of the racing, for the intensity of the racing, and tonight delivered in a huge way. Going forward from here, we are going to take a few weeks off on Tuesdays. I will say there is a PGR. The Ron Race Paints 44 is Thursday night right here on the Ghost Racing Network at around 10 o'clock as well. Look out for that race on Thursday night in the trucks at Talladega as we return to the Truck Series and return to the roots of Talladega Superspeedway for PGR as it picks up the slack the next few weeks while Ron Morris Racing is off. As we get into Daytona 500 season, you heard Baker talk about Podium. Go watch those events. I know a lot of us are signing up for those events. A lot of the drivers you saw tonight are taking a crack at the Podium 500 this year, the biggest event in Superspeedway racing. Go watch it. Go support the guys in this field that are going to be there. They certainly deserve the support. This is a very talented group of drivers that can absolutely make noise on the big stage when we get down to it here in just a few weeks' time when it comes down to the Podium 500. Look out for some other events as well coming up over the course of the next few weeks, and we should be back on Tuesdays here in the next several weeks' time. It's going to just about do it for me here on the Ghost Racing Network. For my normal partner, Austin Green, all season. Obviously, we thank him for what he has done. I thank him for giving me the opportunity to come up here and ramble to you guys again this season. Certainly was a fun time to get to be a part of it. And I cannot wait until we get back on the racetrack next season and get back behind the microphone for all of you. That's going to just about do it for us. Come out and check out PGR on Thursday. I think I'll be on the racetrack again on Thursday. We'll see. Yet to be seen, but should be able to get on the racetrack and race a little bit on Thursday. It's going to be a good one. You won't want to miss it. Until then, I've been Dawson Wise. You've been